associates gather on the stand. The trial's a circus, but I've got a plan. Not a grifter, still worse than Dan. Hopscotch squares, don't trip, don't fall. BK in a felony, I've heard it all. Shake it, magic 8 ball. Tell me the truth, will justice call? Me be the diva, she's running the show. With Capone and Meg, yeah, everybody knows. That we're fat, well, nobody knows. What the corn echoes as the chaos grows. My credibility left in a vehicle. Hopscotch squares, don't trip, don't fall. BK in a felony, I've heard it all. Shake it, magic 8 ball. Tell me the truth, will justice call? What the corn echoes as the chaos grows. My credibility left in a vehicle.
What's up, everyone? Hope you've all had a great day. It is cold here, and I'm not complaining.
It is cold here too.
It's cold, but we're going to be back in the 70s by the end of the week, so I'm okay so far. But that's all I got. It's just been a weird day. Happy Veterans Day. If you are a veteran, I always say that word wrong.
Vet. If you are a vet.
If you're a vet, if you've served, or if anybody's your family served, because, you know, it's not easy being the ones left behind either. So,
no, it did not snow here.
It didn't?
Not where I am.
Oh, it snowed here Sunday and Monday.
Yesterday was warm and rain.
Oh, maybe it just hasn't got there yet. It's coming.
Oh yeah, I heard like the push of cold from Canada or something.
Yeah, that's Ash's fault.
It is. It's totally Ash's fault.
Keep your Alberta Clippers to yourself. I'll tell her when she gets here. What's up, Super T? What's up, Gabby?
Oh, hello.
Hello. I also hope you said your Hail Marys, and I hope you're still saying them. You have a lot. Don't be laughed. No lulls. Just do them. What's up, Chloe? Carmen, it's 70. Oh, well. Enjoy, Carmen. It's me, Jessica. No, we are not behaving.
Definitely not. Something's going to happen where it just goes right off the rails.
Behave. We don't behave.
It always happens.
We never do. It's okay, though. It's all right. Thank you for joining me early tonight. I had a chance to start early, which I was glad because we have a lot to get through because we are wrapping this baby up tonight and sending it down the road. It's over tonight unless something happens. But speaking of which, where she be?
What?
Are you talking about Carmen? She'll be here. She had to fix dinner.
Oh, Moni.
What's up, Moni? How you doing? She'll be here, Flash Fan. Don't you worry.
Oh, don't you worry. She will be here. Don't you worry.
I think she'll be here. Man, all my lights reset because the power went out. And now they're like bright. She will be here with the bells on. Maybe some whistles. I don't know. But it'll be good. So yesterday, I tortured you all with the 2-hour prosecutor closing in the Rachelle Waterman trial. I do apologize because that was awful. I was thinking about it this morning, and I thought, you know, his closing is kind of like when I end a stream because my son will get on me, and he's like, when it's over, just end. Because I don't. And it's really hard. And he doesn't understand that he's like, "You keep repeating yourself." And I said, "I know, and I'm really trying hard to stop doing that." But then somebody will say something in chat and it pulls you back over, and
Yeah.
so it takes you a while to end. And then I thought, I'm the prosecutor in the Rachelle Waterman trial.
But you did make some good points, which he does not.
Thank you.
Uh,
What's up, Bad Dazzer? How you doing? Yeah, I was what? I was getting ready to say was, oh, yes. She'll be here. We got a little bit. We got some things to cover. So, she's got time. So anyway, this is the Rachelle Waterman trial that we've been watching from 2006. Rachelle Waterman is on trial for unaliving her mother, even though she did not take part in the actual unaliving uh, herself. She's charged with first degree, second degree, um, conspiracy to unalive, I think kidnapping.
how did they try her with that?
I don't know, 'cause I'm like, she wasn't even there. Like, she was 600 miles away.
I wonder if she was 700 miles away if they would have charged her with it. Or 601. Like, is there a limit?
I don't know. Moni, AG, I'm sure you could do better. I think I could. I think, if I know what you're talking about, but I don't know. But so she got basically kind of charged with everything that the people that did the actual crime got charged with. So they didn't get charged with some things that I thought they should have been charged with, such as, you know, uh, sex with a minor and child prawn. Well, I think Brian would not have been charged with that. They didn't find any of her videos or pictures on his laptop, but they did find them on Jason Riddell.
It always comes back to him, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I still think that. Um, I s- I am still not convinced. A lot of people were convinced because of her interrogation video, and I guess I'm holding the state wants me to believe, and I'm just speaking as myself here. They want me to believe their weak evidence or no evidence in most cases. They don't have emails from her, they don't have chats from her. They don't they say they have phone calls, but they've never produced any records of the phone calls. They say there's camera footage of the phones in the lobby of the hotel she was staying at. They've never produced any of those. Um, so they want me to believe her their weak evidence and just place all my eggs in the basket of because she confessed to the investigator who fed her a ton of information about what happened.
Right.
And I'm just, if no. So I'm going, like, you have to prove that to me. You have to prove to me that you didn't just hand her everything. And then she's like, okay, fine. What do you want me to say? And then says it. So, you know, I don't know if your standard is like I'm to believe this weak stuff, well then my standard is I don't believe your weak stuff. Like I guess I don't know how to explain it. Just be give me something I can grab onto here because I don't have anything.
Yeah.
And every time I think you're going to, you don't. You just
Yep.
stop short.
It's the empty envelopes.
Yes. What's up, Frank? How you doing?
Like, how embarrassing that is.
Absolutely.
Like,
And and then they blame the FBI. Like who? Okay. I mean, it's not that they're infallible, but come on. You're gonna blame the FBI over your little teeny tiny town of 2000, the FBI.
Yeah.
No. I'll positively say I'd never let her watch my dog or ask her
Mhm.
or ask her to water my plants. Well, yeah, I wouldn't, you know, ask her to keep anything alive for me, but I don't know. They had one little letter from her that she wrote to Jason about the hunting trip. But I was man, this case has just not left me alone. It drives me crazy. I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about conversations that I've had with people where we've joked around about things,
Mm.
and I may have said to them, well, Gabby, okay, I don't it would say, yeah, they're about to get a crock to the face. I don't even own a pair of Crocs, so I cannot. I don't even, I can't. I can't hit them with the Croc to the face. I don't own them. But if Gabby had told me she was going to hit somebody in the face with a Croc, she could. She owns some. But if we were just joking around about a Croc to the face as being something dumb and stupid, and then I said I was going to do that, that I felt like I should do that, that doesn't mean that I knew Gabby was gonna go do it,
Yeah.
or that I thought anything should happen, or that I thought anybody was serious about anything. It just means we were running our mouths. I was probably venting,
We were
and
just joshing around, you
yeah,
know?
like like there's nothing there, and they're trying to put it there, but they just don't have a hunting trip could be anything for her.
Right.
So who knows? And maybe she was just joking, or maybe she was just venting about she was so frustrated with her mom. She won't let me see Jason. She tells me I'm fat. She tells me my grades aren't good enough. She's telling me all these things, and she's venting, and then they're joking around about her mom, having a hunting accident, or taking her mom on a hunting trip, and then she's frustrated, like, oh, I think I'm gonna take my mom on that hunting trip herself, or myself. Doesn't mean that she knew about the hunting trip. I know some of you are there with her, that you think that she is guilty, and I understand it. I'm just not.
I'm the same way with I think it was Chloe who said it. It's the same back and forth, guilty, not guilty,
Absolutely.
guilty, not. It's very odd.
Your dad would tell us he was going to call the Indians down from the hills to scalp us if we got too loud. Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. I used to say something like that to my sister. I used to say when she was little, she was being like annoying, you know? I'd be like, I'm gonna ship you to the zoo and feed you to the lions. And she'd be like, go running away. She'd be like, no,
Yeah,
and then she'd stop bothering me. But
but you were never actually going to do it. She was
oh
bothering
God,
you,
no.
you
No.
know?
Yeah.
And it's just it's crazy. Hey, Heidel. Good to see you. AJ, if you think that, not saying I agree or disagree, but what's your thoughts on Michelle Carter if you make that argument? Should she have been charged? That's completely different. She was absolutely engaging with that person and telling them to get back in the truck as they were unaliving themselves, as they were self-deleting. That's completely
Oh,
different. This girl was hundreds of miles away.
yeah, that's the case that Mr. Gabby was on.
He was
Grand jury. Michelle
seriously?
Carter. Yeah, he was on the Michelle Carter grand jury.
Wow.
Yeah. That was pretty intense.
I can imagine. I thought she should have been
Yeah.
charged. I thought she got off very
Oh,
light.
she got off so easy. I think she only served like 2 years.
Yeah.
And when she went in, she appealed it to get it lower. I'm like, two years is nothing. You should be grateful for that.
Yep.
Terrible. The
That was awful.
text messages she sent him, horrible.
Yep. Yep. What's up, Snipe? Hola, señoritas.
Oh, Ronnie, señorita bonita.
Oh, is she here too?
Yep.
There she is. What's up, Ronnie? Yep, we're going to finish today. We are.
I mean, the trial.
Well, that too. My mom would say, I brought you in and I can take you out, but wasn't serious about it. Yeah. We all say
My
things
mom used to say that.
we're not serious about. Like, and Rochelle's mom, according to her dad, would say, we're going to sell you off to the gypsies. They weren't going to sell him off to the freaking gypsies. I mean, come on. But in Rochelle's head, maybe that was real. I don't know. Maybe that she just used that and ran with it to get attention. I would say hi to you, Zach, but you are not here. So
Wait, do you hear something? Or is
I
that just a wind, a gust of wind?
I think I thought I heard a fish swim by.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't sure. Maybe a cute little dog.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, this is whoever. I'm on my phone. Oh, don't like that you're feeling sick. I hope you feel better.
Yes,
Glad
get
you're here.
better. Zach is John Cena. Makes sense. You can't see me.
What's up, Sharon? I saw you somewhere.
Yep. I said, hey, Sharon, hey.
There's 43. No snow yet.
Yeah, what is it? It's 34 here.
It's 41 here, but it feels like 24. Zach's John Cena makes sense. Ronnie, I remember hearing I'm going to sell you to the gypsies growing up, but can't remember who said it to me. Well, that might be a good thing, Ronnie. I don't know. So anyway, my apologies for torturing you all for 2 hours yesterday with the state's closing argument. That was awful. We do have the defense closing argument today. It's about an hour and a half. And then the state does have a rebuttal, but it's not
Of
that long.
course.
It's not that long. So you've heard Central Florida is going to be colder than Alaska tonight.
Wow.
But it'll last
Anything's
for like
possible.
a day. Yes, your dad did tell you if you were going to be dumb, you had to be tough. I don't know what Zach told you.
Zach said, hold on, I'll be right back, and never
Yeah.
came back. That's what happened there.
When we're still waiting.
Oh, man.
Still waiting. Hurry up and get your dinner done, Carmen.
Yeah. Stir that pot, girl. I told her I was going for milk.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is? Your dad would just say he was going to drop us in a ditch if we fell asleep on the way home at night. Oh my gosh. My parents didn't want to carry 6 kids into the house. Wow. That's a little traumatic.
That's something my mom would say, too. She'd be like, you better not fall asleep because you're going to stay out here all night.
Different time, right, Snipe? Different time. Mine used to say they would take me back to the police station. Oh, wow. Oh, parents. We're funny people sometimes. That's all. Anything else? I have this guy sped up a little bit, but he talks pretty fast anyway. So if I need to turn it down or back it down, let me know. It's not that fast. And then I will beat up the state like super fast.
We continue on record. Mr. Wells, are you ready to proceed with your closing argument?
I am, Your Honor.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Did Rachelle Waterman want her mom to die? That's the question in this case. Did she want her mom to die? And we can talk about elements like this and elements like that, but it boils down, did this teenage girl want her mom to die? No. No, she did not want her mom to die. She did not want her mom to die. We know that from who she is. We know that from what she said. We know that from how she's acted. We know that from what other people have said and the other evidence. Fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a case of whether Rachelle Waterman is not guilty. This is a case that Rachelle Waterman is innocent. Rachelle Waterman did not want her mom to die. I'm going to explain maybe ad nauseum how we know that she did not want her mom to die. But before we do that, I'm going to deal with the state's case. I'm going to address that. I'm going to show why, even if you believe what the state tells you, you have to find Rachelle Waterman not guilty. You have to find her not guilty. And then I'm going to take you piece by piece by piece. We're going to show why Rachelle Waterman is not only not guilty, but she's innocent. You see, let's start with what the state says is their evidence. And they talk about all sorts of things. They come in and they talk about these letters. They talk about plans. They talk about meetings. They talk about Rachelle's statements. But the fact of the matter is, the cops get there on Monday morning, and they start investigating. They start investigating, and they're looking around trying to find out what's going on. What's happened with this van? Who is this person in it? And they say, well, Rachelle, in their investigation, Rachelle's telling people that at school her mom died in a drunk driving accident. Well, first of all, there's not any question that when she came home, there's an empty wine bottle, that their mom's car is gone and that she's gone. Her dad, Doc Waterman, says, I'm going to go look for her that Sunday night. He says, I'm concerned about what's going on. They go on and they talk about other things. They talk about the interview on Wednesday night, and they say, see, she lies about this sex with Jason, and so we know she's a liar. What teenage girl is going to sit there and admit that sort of stuff? They say she gives a false alibi. You heard Dr. Byer. You heard Stephanie Claus. You heard her friends. They said she was in denial. We talked in voir dire. We talked about teenagers and how they deal with things. We talked about our common experiences. Dr. Byer said, hey, that's normal. That is something that they do. Was Rachelle Waterman giving an alibi for Jason Arendt? No. Rachelle Waterman is saying, you know what? I don't want to accept that my mom is dead. I don't want to accept that Jason did this. I don't want to accept that I didn't see the signs. And so then they go and they get Jason Arendt to talk. They get a glass warrant. They get Jason Arendt to talk some more. Officer Habib comes in. He gets a statement from Jason that says, hey, you know what? Rachelle is involved. At that point in time, they decide we're going to go ahead and interrogate Rachelle once more. Now, here's what's interesting. And here's why I tell you that the state has essentially no case. It's not me that's saying this. It's not me. Exhibit A. The prosecutor himself at 4:30 Friday afternoon, after hearing about what Rachelle had done, after hearing about the statements on Wednesday night, after hearing about the multitude of times that Jason Arendt changes his story, after finally getting Jason to say, okay, Rachelle's involved, they still say, if we can develop charges. You know what that means? That means that they couldn't at that time. That means that everything before 4:30 on Friday counts for zip. They don't even have enough to charge her. It's not me. It's the state. I've never had a case in which the state says we don't have enough evidence.
Objection. He's giving personal.
You could refrain from referring to your personal experiences.
It's extremely unusual for there to ever be a case in which the state says we do not have enough evidence. I'll put SOA for State of Alaska. Sergeant Habib said, you can't take one person's word for anything. You can't build a case on one person's word. That's exactly what they did, though. That's exactly what they did. They know 4:30 Friday, they don't have enough. And so what do? They go and they make sure that Doc's out of the way. We don't have to worry about him. We're going to go pick up Rachelle. And then they go and they use interrogation techniques that border between offensive and abusive, and they break down Rachelle. And they break her down, and they break her down, and they break her down. You heard Dr. Byer talk about the immense psychological pressure. You could see it. You could see it. And again, it's not just me that talks about these types of things. In 1957, our Supreme Court, not of Alaska, of the United States, the Supreme Court of the United States said, we are reaching a point in which the methods of an interrogator using psychological coercion can be far more effective than any thumb screws that was devised by the Inquisition. It's not me. It's not some defense lawyer standing up here saying, ignore that man behind the curtain. It is the law. It is the state. I'm pointing out what they themselves have said. And when they finally break her down, what is it that she says? What is it that she gives them? At the very end, just before Sergeant Habib says, I'm sorry it took over 2 hours to get this, what is it that they get? They get them saying, you knew and you did nothing about it. Now, if you assume that that's true, I'm going to tell you why it's not in a moment, but if you assume that that's true, the law requires you to find Rachelle not guilty. Knowing is not enough. Not doing anything is not enough. It's not enough. Just like they said that they don't have the evidence, that's not enough. Essentially, they stand up here and they say, we've got Rachelle Waterman's testimony. Now they won't say that, they'll go, well, we've got Jason Arendt's and we've got his letters. But essentially, what is it that they've got? They've got Jason Arendt's testimony. I wouldn't believe Jason Arendt if he told me what.
Objection.
Jason Arendt shouldn't be believed if he tells you where to go for dinner. They've got him and they pressure her to corroborate it. That's it. That is it. That is it. And if you look at their case, it's not enough. You have to say not guilty. But you know what? Let's look at what we proved. Let's look at what we showed. And let's look at what the evidence shows and how we can know that she is in fact innocent. If you remember, I developed a timeline with Brian Riddell. And the interesting thing is that this timeline is actually never contradicted. Everybody agrees with this timeline. Jason Arendt admitted, you know what? After late September, I never had substantial contact with Rachelle again. He wrote in his letters, I never see you face to face anymore. He talks about their phone calls, they're brief. He talks about how I saw you online to chat and you didn't respond. If you read those letters, if you keep reading those letters, you see they are the letters of a deranged, stalking, manipulative child predator. This is not a two-way communication. The letters that Rachelle writes to him, we showed, were written in September. For example, this hunting trip email that they talk about. First of all, you notice how they keep talking about the hunting trip. They keep talking about the hunting trip and say, this is a code word, this is a code word, this is a code word. You remember when I asked them to read the paragraph afterwards? I asked them to read the paragraph after hunting trip. She says, I'm tempted to take a hunting trip myself. Guess what my mom is wanting me to do by threatening me? Go out with Ian again. And I know why, because she figures when I'm with him, I won't smoke or drink. because he would not allow it, even though I've been clean for a while, long while, too long. Also, since he's so controlling, she could ask him where I am at any time, and he'd know. Isn't that sad? I told her it's not going to happen. She threatened me, and I think that that's horrible. Oh, I talked to her about you and our night out. We sat at the ballpark, and we decided way back when school started to be just friends. Oh, sorry, I'll pick this up. Hopefully, after volleyball, you could come over and just watch a movie. How do we know when that letter was written? Because if you look just above the hunting trip, she says, oh, my brother has mono to add to all things. Did you wonder why I asked Doc when Jeffrey had mono? To prove when this letter was written. Jeffrey had mono after he got back to school. Jeffrey had mono shortly after he got back to school, which started in the beginning of September. The breakup in contact, you see right about here, happens about the 22nd of September. Middle of September is before this. This is the time that Jason gets the gun. This is the time that Brian says the idea of shooting starts. Her discussion of a hunting trip happens before the idea of shooting ever starts. Listen again, she's talking about a hunting trip. I could take one myself. My mom wants me to go out with Ian, I don't know why. She figures when I'm with him, I won't smoke or drink because he wouldn't allow it, even though I've been clean for a while, too long. Which is more common? Which is more likely to be true? That she in that instance is talking about having her mom killed, or that they're talking about a hunting trip is going out and smoking and drinking? I asked Jason if that could be the case, and he said, yeah, it could be. We all know guys that sit there and say, I'm going to go fishing this weekend, and the line never gets wet. We know what gets wet. Their whistle gets wet because they sit out on the boat and they drink and they come back. And did you have a good time fishing, honey? Had a great time. What did you catch? Oh, about a 12-pack over the weekend. Which is more common? Given that context, which is more likely? What's a lot more likely is that she's sitting here as a 16-year-old talking about going and smoking and drinking. You want to talk about the breakup? Let's talk about the breakup. I'll give you proof that Jason would somewhat realize that there is a breakup. They keep pointing to the letter from September 29th, the letter for Rachelle. It's Exhibit 64. It's on page 2 and on page 3. This is right after that. At the bottom, he says, I have my own little fears too. I'm afraid that you'll take matters into your own hands and be taken away from me. Afraid that you might just get tired of waiting and move on with someone else. Deep down in my heart, I know you wouldn't do that, baby. I know you really do. But like I said, I just feel lost without you, and it lets stuff like that slip in sometimes. Have you ever thought about that, me? And he ends the letter. He says, you can get rid of me, but I promise that you will never lose me as long as you still want me. I am yours now, and I will be yours forever. Body and soul, blah, 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 blah. Bottom of page 2, the middle of page 3 on Exhibit 64. You don't write in love letters, if you still want me. You don't write in love letters, I fear losing you. You don't write in love letters, hey, something's rocky. Unless it's already rocky. Unless it's already rocky. What was it Brian said? He says his computer store opens and Rachelle starts working. This is about the end of June. This is not contradicted. Nobody disagrees with this. The computer store closes. And after this, roughly shortly after that, Brian has no contact with Rachelle. The state wants to say, okay, Brian's testimony is a lot different. How? We listened to it. What did he say? He kept saying, you know what? I don't know anything about Rachelle's involvement. Everything that I heard was from Jason. Jason was telling me this. Jason was telling me that. So was Rachelle involved? That's what Jason said. So did Rachelle have anything to do? That's what Jason said. That's what Jason said. That's what Jason said. He said that then. He said that now. You know what he says now, though? That was when I believed Jason. That was when I trusted him. You know what? If I hadn't believed Jason, if I had ignored what he said and I had talked to Rachelle, none of this would have happened. What is that saying? Brian knows that Jason lied to him, and Brian knows that Rachelle did not want her mom killed. He knows she's a teenage girl, that she's spouting off, that she's venting, as she described to the police. Rachelle gets grounded at this point. And you remember what happens? Jason goes nuts. Jason goes nuts. Jason's the one who, when his contact with Rachelle is cut off, Jason's the one then that starts plotting about this idea to kill Lauri. Jason is the one. What was it that Rachelle said in that interview? What was it she said before she was made all those promises, before she was beaten down, before she was told you have your choices, and your choices are to talk to us or to spend your life in jail, essentially? Remember that? She's told, hey, it's your life. You can decide how you want to live it. I talk with you, I get less time. I don't talk with you, I get more time. It's your life. You decide how to live it. You're going down with Jason. It's only a matter of how hard. Tell us what we want to hear. Corroborate Jason. But it's Jason, in fact, that sits there and comes up with these plans. And Rachelle says, I'm just venting. The contact gets cut off. Jason goes nuts. Jason goes nuts. And so at this point, Jason's telling Brian, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. Brian's going, why? 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 And then Jason manipulates what Rachelle has said. Look at what he's done. Look at what Lauri has done. Look at this. Look at this. And Rachelle wants this to happen. You remember what Brian said about this? He said, I was floored. I was flabbergasted. I knew her. And that didn't seem like her at all. This is the young woman that when her mom gets sick on the plane coming back from Haines, she gets her mom a muffin and some juice. She takes care of her mom. This is the young woman who treasures the letter from her mom. This is the young woman that keeps the promise to her mom. You remember the discussion about the sex assault with Dr. Byer? She didn't talk about that for 2.5 years. Why? She kept the promise to her mom. It's not an easy thing to talk about. And it happens more often in our society than it should. But essentially, Rachelle has been victimized in this case 3 times. She was victimized by a stranger when she was violated at a young age. She had to keep that inside. She was victimized by Jason, who, not necessarily knowing about it, but gave her attention. You heard what Dr. Byer said about Rachelle. Jason used that, just like a predator, just like a sex offender. I mean, that's what he was. He groomed his victim. He gave her stuff. He promised her love, promised her romance, and he got stuff from it. Send me these pictures. Let's go have sex. Here's your dope. Here are your cigarettes. Here's your booze. You know what? Let me tell you something. In courtrooms all across this country, men that do what Jason Arendt did go to jail. They are brought in and they are sent to jail. And when they are sent to jail, the state does not stand up and say, well, she manipulated him. The state does not stand up and say she wanted it. The state does not stand up and go, well, looks like everybody had a good time. What's the big deal? That's absolutely offensive. That is disgusting. That is disgusting that they can sit there and do that simply because at this point they want to get a conviction on a 16-year-old girl. Not let them do that. Rachelle wound up a 3rd time being victimized. She wound up being victimized by the interrogation to which she was subjected. She was told again and again and again that the only way out The only way that they would believe her, the only way that she could see to get that door to open was to tell them what they wanted to hear. What was it they wanted to hear? They wanted to hear what Jason said. Jason, who goes nuts when he loses her. Jason, who comes back and tells Brian, you know what? If you won't agree to kill her because the contact is cut off with me, I'll tell you she's being abused. She's being beaten. This is a real problem. And so they start talking about all sorts of things. They start talking about plans and this, that, and the other. And if you remember, we have this knife incident. What happened with the knife incident? Jason denies it, but Jason essentially loses it when he can't even contact Rachelle on the computer. You think about that. He can't even contact her on the computer. And so that's it. That's it. You're going to kill her. You are going to kill her. Get down there and kill her. What kind of a nut is he? I'll tell you what kind of a nut he is. He's somebody that preys on young girls. But you know what? Well, we have laws to protect young girls from that. We do that because a lot of times they don't have the life experiences. They don't have, as Dr. Beyer talked about, the brain development to understand and appreciate the risks. We do that because girls that are the age of Rachelle when this happened don't see the worst consequences. You remember what Dr. Beyer said? What is fun for a teenager? What do they like to do? They like to get on their skateboards and hang on to the back of a car and drive down the road. What did she say? She said, you and I are going, man, let's get to the emergency room now. Why? Because we can see the worst that happens. We understand that. We have a perspective for that. Part of that comes from brain development. Part of it comes from our own choices that we made when we were that age. And all of us, when we were age 15 or 16 or 17, we had relationships that we look back now and say, oh, Lord, please don't let anybody ever know that I dated that person.
I'm certainly at that moment. MLS, are you talking about the guy? The guy he's talking about is 24. The defendant at the time was 15. She's 16 now that she's on trial. So Jason Arrett, who's the nut job he's talking about, and Brian Riddell, who actually did the unaliving of her mom, they were both 24. Both dated her when she was 15. So, yeah, they're gross.
Great pause, by the way.
I do not believe the physical abuse happened. I'm with you guys on that.
No, Flash fan, that's not. Let's go.
No, he's been pretty quiet today.
Yeah. He is.
I do think there is some, I do agree that there was some verbal abuse, though. I do think her mom told her she was overweight. I do think her mom was on her about her grades. I do think those things happen. I don't think the other things, I don't think the physical abuse happened. It's too bad this was an unfortunate meeting of a confused narcissist teen, a wannabe tough guy, and a manipulating POS who put this all together. Absolutely.
Yep. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, he is a super creep. Super creep.
Oh, that the exact song that just went into my head as well. I was just about to sing it too.
Thanks, Frank. No, she was just told to be good and stop hanging out with old men. She was told that, but her mom also told her she was overweight and was on her about her grades, even though she was a good student. She was an honor choir. She did the sports stuff. You know, she did all the things.
There's what, track team? Or no, volleyball.
Volleyball, basketball. She did
town
all
bike,
that stuff.
you know.
Yes. She did have a lot of boyfriends. We will say
all
that.
All the athletic things.
Yeah. Well, and she probably did have a really bad attitude towards her mother. What teenage girl doesn't? I was 1,000% guilty of that.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Makes me feel bad now.
I don't.
very different circumstances, Gabby.
I know. Yes, snipe. Lots of cardio.
So MLS, this is 2006, Craig, Alaska. Rachelle Waterman's on trial for unaliving her mom, even though she did not take part in it. Brian Riddell did, depending on who you believe, between Brian Riddell and Jason Arndt, who I believe Brian Riddell, Brian Riddell broke into the Waterman house when Rachelle and her dad were both away for the weekend. Rachelle was in Anchorage and her dad was in Juneau. So nowhere close to being home. They're on the island of Prince of Wales Island or whatever that's called. He breaks in, kidnaps her mom, forces her to drink a bottle of wine, and then tries to break her neck. He can't because it's not like the movies. Ends up he ends up karate chopping her in the throat. Then he hits her. This guy's 6'5", 277. He hits her repeatedly in the throat with a flashlight as hard as he can. And then they end up smothering her, putting her in her van, setting her and the van on fire, and leaving. All so that gross Jason can ride off into the sunset with Rachelle, who I'm not even convinced now anymore that she wanted to do that.
Well, she probably didn't, but I mean, if you look at Jason at all, you can understand why he probably had that fantasy.
Absolutely.
Because he is the pig man.
Dang it. So she's being charged with first-degree unaliving, second-degree unaliving, conspiracy, I believe kidnapping, and burglary. And there's 3 more charges. There was a total of 8.
I could only find the 3.
I thought
1 and 2 and conspiracy. That's the only ones I could find.
No, Jason is not on trial. So Jason, he talked like immediately.
Yeah, he got a deal, which is
And
the worst.
Put, his blood brother and best friend, Brian, who he says was the only person involved in taking Lauri's life, he threw him and Rachelle under the bus immediately and then continued to distance himself from it as much as he possibly could. The state's case, in my opinion, is built completely around Jason Arndt and his story and what they want it to be. The emails they have are only Jason's. They don't have responses from Rachelle. They don't have, there's no emails from Rachelle. There's no chat saved from Rachelle. There's just nothing. Her interrogation, which he's kind of touched on a little bit, is the only thing, but they fed her a lot of information there. Her dad wasn't there, which she waived. I don't know. I don't know, but to me, they can't. We had a big, long discussion in here about it, that I need more than her interrogation to convict her. I need some evidence, and they just haven't brought it, in my opinion.
Oh, tell MLS about the empty envelopes. This is a great one, MLS. You're gonna love this one.
So they have one of their crime scene. Oh, he's a latent fingerprint dude. He's up on the stand. No gloves. I mean, I guess 2006 they weren't wearing gloves yet. So he's up on the stand. He has totally missed the boot print on the window, but he is sitting there. What's up, Carmen? He's sitting there on the stand, and he's opening these envelopes that are supposed to have these fibers in there because they found these rope fibers in the Waterman house. There's nothing in there. But the print guy,
4 envelopes he opened.
all empty. He made those envelopes feel like they were having a good time. He ran his fingers all around those envelopes. I mean,
rim job, everything.
Ridiculous. And then there's nothing in there. And then they blamed the FBI. This little town of 2,000 and their little police force blamed the FBI for losing the fibers. So I don't know. We have not. We've been really good about nobody has spoiled it. So we will be getting to the verdict tonight. So nothing's there. They didn't get the memo on gloves till 2012. Good grief. That's not that long ago.
Well, I mean, you have to travel by plane to get people the news there. So you can't just, drive across a bridge.
Yeah, no, I know you're not trying to spoil. There's people here that think she's guilty. I could not convict her with what the state has put in front of me as evidence. But that's me. What's up,
Hi,
Ash?
Carmen.
Hello, Carmen.
So, I want to apologize for not being here yesterday. I completely overslept for yours. Was 45 minutes late for a stream I was supposed to be on after yours.
It's all right.
Sorry, but I did go back and watch a little bit, but I realized that I was more distracted by what was going on in the chat than I was what was actually happening. So I wrote a few things down that
In your handy dandy notebook?
Yeah. So
She found some clues. Ooh, flash fan.
Uh-oh.
These are the things that you said yesterday that made me laugh. AJ is panhandling. I want cheap. You should have called her Johnny Cochran. Oh, lawyer Gabby speaking. Get on that pole, AJ. Wait, has an OnlyFans. I'm not scared of that cheesehead. AJ cussed out Carmen earlier. AJ is making pointless points. Haha. On the pole equals no pants. No. I invented rust. AJ, ask Gabby what her safe word is. Haha. Gabby's safe word is cocoa butter. Gabby, don't you have a butt knuckle to attend to? And then he goes, I'm almost done. I'm influenced by a well-known Canton, Massachusetts individual named Gabby. And lastly, I took LSD. Thank you for that.
I don't remember the Cochran one.
Oh, I do. I just let it go. Let it go.
Oh, and for the record, I don't live in Canton.
No, she won't even leave. Like, she will leave no DNA in Canton.
No,
Like,
I won't. My
I'm not
sister-in-law
gonna-
lives there, and I don't even leave my cigarette butts in Canton. I put them in my car and bring them back to where I live to throw them away.
I like how that's what you acknowledge. You're like, butt knuckle? Lawyer Gabby? All right. Cocoa butter? It is my safe word. Can't? That's where I draw the line.
no, it's Nunya Bunions is the safe word.
Yeah,
We heard
Nunya
that.
Bunyan.
I just shortened it to Nunya Bunyas, but we heard that straight out of Caleb's mouth.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So, no, Carmen did not get a chance to. Oh, wait.
Yeah, did I said
Yeah, she was here. I did 2 streams yesterday. I think she was here for that one.
Frank, butt
For
knuckle
this-
my ass.
Haley. What are you
Haley,
doing?
Haley, Haley,
What's up?
Haley.
Yay, so happy to see you.
When she messaged me earlier, I legit jumped up and down. And I was like,
But knuckle my ass.
Yeah, couldn't tell you a single thing that happened in the trial because I was too busy reading what he wrote. And I was like, I gotta write this down.
actually, Flash fan, Mr. Gabby will just send me to do it because I'm basically his bulldog. So, Mr. Gabby's not going to do anything to you.
He grew up on a flower farm.
Yeah, he
Doing
grew up on a
anything.
flower farm, chasing butterflies.
I just see him twirling through the fields. Like,
With rotisserie chicken.
yes, and he's so happy and flowers all around. Like, my
Yes.
life is so great.
He's like,
Yeah.
"Da-dee-da-dee-da."
He's like, guys, let's go fishing. Whee!
Hey. Also, Frank, wet your whistle is take a drink.
I can't believe you didn't say Googling for that one.
He didn't.
I'm
He
gonna
just
wet
said,
your whistle.
he said wet whistle.
Yes.
Yeah, when someone's like super thirsty, they're like, oh, let me wet my whistle.
I wet my whistle.
Came in at a weird time.
Yeah, you did.
I don't say that, but some people do.
Lurking, all getting dinner, and I hear Carmen reading all those, nearly spat my drink.
You're welcome.
Last night was weird. You were weird.
You
Yeah,
think?
you were.
I have the proof. Proof is in the pudding.
Proof is in the pudding.
In her handy dandy notebook.
I need to take these out because this is my work notebook, and they're gonna be like, "What are you talking about?" I'm gonna look at it and be like, "I want cheese." What dorm said I wanted cheese?
Who needs to get on the pole? Why did
Yeah.
nobody gets on the pole?
I was like,
On
oh
the pole.
crap, he said, AJ, get on the pole.
Who's AJ? We don't even have anybody here named AJ.
Oh, I laughed out loud. AJ, get on the pole.
I'm like,
That was so random too for him to say something like that. It was just like, what did he just say? Wait, let me scroll back for a second.
yeah, I was like,
My-
what?
My
Are you
favorite
talking
was
about?
get on the pool. I ain't scared of that, she said.
That was the squid.
Yeah, and then I took LSD.
Yeah, that
For
was
the
like,
record, he did not take LSD.
he did not. He would not.
No. And Squid does not have an OnlyFans. She has an OnlyFans, according to her. Not OnlyFans.
Are you inviting me to
Ask my mother.
that
I
reason?
just
Flash
gave you your
fan.
Hail Marys.
Flash fan. Flash fan. No.
He's like, hey AJ, you want to do a full stream later?
Flash fans like, AJ, come to the dark side.
I'm not touching it.
My sister would destroy me if I took LSD.
That's why I corrected it. It's just funny. That's what. That
That's
would
what
be your
you
face.
Perfect. That was perfect timing.
That was my face when I was going through the comments.
Oh my god.
See how we just tie all this together?
We're so good at it. Okay.
Let me
Back
wet
to-
my whistle.
You know what, my whistle?
Not the whistle.
I don't know what he was talking about.
Apparently, it was really bad.
It
He
was.
wants to he just wants to start a mosh pit right now. Like this guy is so amped up.
Oh, he's like pissed.
He's about to call Blue 22. Blue 22.
What?
He's about to tackle everybody in that place. What happened?
Last
What I do?
night, Gabby called me a damn dino. Sorry,
Oh,
my
yeah.
mouth is prehistoric, Missy.
Not only did she call her a dinosaur,
Hilarious.
she call her a dinosaur, she mimicked the sound.
I did. I remember that now. I don't remember much from last night, but I remember that now.
I don't know why.
She was
Wow.
like,
No.
what was the sound? She was like, "Ah," or something. It was like a pterodactyl or something. I'm like, was that Ash?
She's like, no. Sorry. I'm trying to like see where because I can't just like 5 seconds this.
Caleb came in the living room last night, Carmen, and he goes, Gabby, shut up about creamed corn. It's 2 a.m. Yelling about creamed corn, and I completely forget, there's people living downstairs now. Caleb's like, shut the fuck up. They're probably sleeping. I'm like, oh, my bad.
Oopsies.
Yeah, you were like, I don't know, who would eat cream corn? I was like, me. I
No.
love cream corn.
We're not doing this again.
No, I don't want to talk about cream corn right now.
Only polls.
Or those. A
Yes,
poll.
yes, I did. Yes, I did, Flash fan.
I have pole PTSD.
Oh,
AKA
What size?
friction.
what size shirt do you wear, Mom? Because the sheriff's department's having shirts made for Christmas.
All right, we'll message you in the private chat.
Okay.
Because we can see the worst that happens. We understand that. We have a perspective for that. Part of that comes from brain development. Part of it comes from our own choices that we made when we were that age. And all of us, when we were age 15 or 16 or 17, we had relationships that we look back now and say, oh, Lord, please don't let anybody ever know that I dated that person. Please don't ever let anybody know that I had sex with that person. We all do. Some of it's because they're a little bit funny. Some of it's because we look and say they didn't go anywhere. Some of it's because we look and say, you know what? That person is dangerous. And we know that at 25, and we know that at 35, but we don't know that at 16. And so the state stands up and says, you know what? The fact that Rachelle is a teenager should not make any difference. Well, that's true, and that's not true. It's true in the sense that if Rachelle committed these crimes, it doesn't really matter under the law whether she's 16 or not. But it's not true in the sense that you have to gauge, was Rachelle being reasonable? Was she perceiving what's going on? You don't do that from a perspective of a 35-year-old. You do that from a perspective of a 16-year-old. And in that sense, what she thinks and what she feels and what she understands as a teenager is absolutely relevant. It is absolutely on point. And so is it reasonable for a teenager to be sitting there talking, I wish my mom would get off my case. What do you want us to do, kill her? Oh yeah, that'd be a great idea. Okay, we'll take care of it. 16-year-olds have no idea about the worst consequences. Stop and think about being 16 or dealing with your own 16-year-old and what is it that you always say or what was said to you? What were you thinking? What is it that they say? What is it that we said back? I don't know. I wasn't. Is that unrealistic or is that life? That's life. So, after the incident with the knife, Jason does get a hold of Rachelle. He talks to her a couple of days later. You remember, this was the phone call that even he confirmed. There was a phone call, and he got so mad, he walked in and he picked up a rifle. He says, I just had a flash of anger. Let me tell you something. People that pick up rifles in a flash of anger typically wind up in jail. That is not a normal response. How angry, how misadjusted does somebody have to be that when they are mad, they get a rifle? They get a rifle. And Brian says, hey, I'll do it. I'll do it. Even Jason said at this point that contact with Rachelle greatly diminished. Is it any wonder why? Is it any wonder why? This is the incident with the gun, September 29th, around there. What is it that Rachelle says? What is it that Brian says? And what is it even that Jason says? She happened to reach me. Brian says, she said she wanted it called off. Jason now says, well, she thought that it was too iffy. It was too iffy. But you can see her. I told him no. I told him no. I told him no. I told him no. She tells them 19 times in her interview, I told him no. Why would she tell them no? If she wanted her mom dead, she wouldn't say no. Now, here's the part that I don't understand, that makes no sense. This email supposedly is talking about the hunting trip. The email says that the hunting trip has to be canceled. Well, the interesting thing is that if you read the letter dated the 29th, Jason's parents had been out of town. Jason's parents had been gone. It would have been easier for people to come over to his house or him to go out and go drinking and smoking. Everybody says that the phone call from Rachelle just happened to come about. She called Jason for something else. She called him from community drama. And he says, oh, Brian's going to go do this. And she goes, what? Yeah, Brian's going to go out. Are you out of your mind? Well, no, you thought, I didn't want this, you idiot. Get out there and stop him. Well, I don't know if I can. Yes, you can. Get out there and stop him. Get out there and stop him. You notice, Jason never tells her what happened. Jason never says why it got stopped. She says to the cops, I thought it was because I told him no. That's when she learns, no, it's because Brian forgot the bolt. Actually, Brian said, if you remember, he says, I didn't know if I was going to do it or not. I was sitting there thinking about it. Now, she happens to call him after school for community drama. The email is dated at 12:30. It's dated in school, and it's sent to her home address. If the hunting trip means the plot to kill her mom, why does it come 2.5 hours before the phone call? If the hunting trip means the plot to kill her mom, why does he send it to her home address? That doesn't make any sense to me. And it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. As we go through this, I want you to I'll point out all the little places where Jason's testimony does not fit. The state says we corroborated everything. No, they didn't. They corroborated everything that's not in dispute. They corroborated everything about Jason's role in the murder. They corroborated everything about Brian's role in the murder. They corroborated everything about Jason and Brian planning it. Fine. They did not corroborate anything about Jason and Rachelle. Now, at this point, you hear Rachelle says, don't do it. Brian says, well, get a hold of her and let me know. Doesn't hear anything. In fact, Brian says, I didn't know what was going on. And he hitchhikes out to Jason's house. And she says, no, this is again from Jason. This is again from Jason. What's going on? At this point, she's grounded. He says that she's grounded. So Jason's accepting at this point the lack of contact is because of grounding. When does Brian talk about it coming back up? Late October, early September, early November, what was happening with this? The end of the grounding. The end of the grounding. This is Jason that stands outside our window at night. This is Jason that at 2:30 is describing her stereo lights, that's describing what he sees in her room. This is Jason that's saying, I watched you doing this. That's a stalker. I'm sorry, there's no other word for it. He's stalking her. He's stalking her when she's 16 years old. Who's got the motive? Who has the motive to kill Lauri Waterman? Rachelle? What is it that everybody says? Trooper McPheron asks about this. She says it's getting better, her relationship with Lauri. Stephanie Claus said, I saw them in Haines around the end of October. They look fine. In fact, she said, it floored me when this happened. I couldn't put it together with what I had seen. All of her friends said she's acting like a normal teenage girl. Things seem to be getting better. If she calls it off at the end of September when things have not been necessarily so good, why does she want it to go forward in the middle of November when things are getting better? And even Trooper McPheron says, so you asked this guy that you're breaking up with to get rid of your mom when the relationship is getting better. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. But what else did Trooper McPheron say? He said sex is a powerful motivator, especially for 25-year-old males. Everybody on this jury that has been a 25-year-old male, or everybody on this jury that has had experience with a 25-year-old male, knows that is absolutely true. Now I ask you, which is more likely, that Rachelle Waterman said, get rid of my mom because she's a little hard on me? Or Jason said, I'm getting rid of Lauri because I can't have access to Rachelle and I'm not having sex with a 16-year-old girl anymore. The judge read today an instruction about motive. It's not an element of the crime. They don't have to prove it. I admit that. But you read that and it says absence of motive may tend to establish innocence. May tend to establish innocence. While presence of motive may tend to establish guilt. Jason had the motive. And by this point in time, the grounding's over, and he knows doesn't want to accept it. But Rachelle is not talking to him. She's not calling him like she did. She's not answering him. She's not coming to see him. He said the contact was cut off substantially. Rachelle said that. Brian said that. And he says, all right, we're going to go ahead and do this plan. Let's do this. Let's get rid of Lauri Waterman. Brian says, once again, this is motive. This is motive. Brian says, hey, why don't we wait a couple of years? You wait a couple of years, she'll be 18. Her mom won't have any say in the matter. Jason says, if I wait 2 years, she may not want me. Why? Because he knew he was nothing more than a high school janitor, Marine Corps dropout that sat around and played video games and smoked dope with his buddies. And Rachelle Waterman at 16 is going, he's 25 years old and interested in me. And at 18, she's going to say, he's going nowhere. He knew. He knew. He knew. He manipulated Rachelle. He manipulated Brian. I mean, it's the perfect plan. He knew Brian. He knew Brian would believe whatever he said. He knew Brian would do whatever he said. He knew if I can keep Brian from Rachelle, I can convince Brian, because of his background and because I am his blood brother, I can convince him that this is happening. He's already told me I'm not going to kill anybody unless somebody's life is in danger. Okay, what do I need to do then? Brian could not have said anymore if he had held up a big sign. Hey, Jason, here's what you need to do to persuade me to kill Lauri. Here's what you have to say. He didn't know it, but he might as well have held that sign up. And so when Jason wants Rachelle,
I'm an
he says,
infant.
I know what to say. She's in danger. What was it that he said at the gun incident?
Look how I hold
Rachelle
a
just
sign.
was threatened with her life. You know what? Rachelle admitted she embellished the tension and what happened with her mom. Rachelle admitted that there were times in which it was pretty tough between them. Rachelle continued at first at the interview to talk about her mom had threatened her life with a knife. But when did she say that happened? If you go back and you look, she said that happened a long time ago. Rachelle never anywhere says my life was threatened in late September. She doesn't say it. She does not say that that's what happened. What does that mean? That means this is more crap from Jason to try and manipulate Brian. So Jason says, let's do it. He says, let's do it. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were trying to get my attention. He says, let's do it. And he says, don't give any info to Rachelle. Now, Brian says at the time, I thought, well, it's because he doesn't want Rachelle to know the details. It's because he wants to make sure that she has plausible deniability. But if you remember, Brian says that after this date, after the September 29th, Jason never tells him that Rachelle wants this to happen. He doesn't. He never says it. So, which again is more likely? At this point, the no info going to Rachelle is to protect Rachelle so that she has plausible deniability? Or is it because Jason knows that if Brian and Rachelle talk, this plan will not go through? That Rachelle is going to go, what are you talking about? I've never said those things to Jason in the past several weeks, in this past several months. The only thing that ever came up was the shooting thing, and I told him not to do it. He's still doing this? No. And then Jason, who doesn't have the guts, pull a trigger himself. He has nobody. He has nobody to get rid of Lauri Waterman. Lauri Waterman that he views as the obstacle to his courtship of Rachelle. And so they go, we're going to do the plan. I'm not going to go into grisly details about the plan. It's not necessary. There's no question that Rachelle was not involved with that. The only question is, did Rachelle want her mom dead? And so now we come to a very interesting part of the puzzle. You might say it's the key, if you'll forgive my humor. Brian says that he had been trying to get, they hadn't won any plans to go to information to go to Rachelle. He had been trying to get information about the floor plan. He had been trying to get information about where Lauri Waterman was. Jason said, I got sketchy details. I gave sketchy details to Brian. I asked him, if you remember, don't you think one of the sketchy details, one of the details that you should know is what floor she's on? Wouldn't it make a big difference if she's on the second or the third floor? You know, what did Brian say? I went in blind. I didn't know anything. I was feeling my way around in the dark, literally. I thought it was a 2-story house. Jason says, I gave Brian all this information and we talked about the window that Rachelle would go into. But you know what?
Pause it real quick.
The wrong window. Why did they get the wrong window? Because Rachelle never tells them. You saw the picture up there.
I thought that he testified that he didn't want to do it that way.
According to the defense here, he testified that he wasn't sure if he was going to do it, but he had forgotten the bolt. He didn't have the bolt.
Oh, I missed that.
So I don't know if he did have the bolt, if he would have done it. But he's saying the email was sent to Rachelle 2 hours or 2.5 hours before it was even going to happen to her house. Was weird.
Yeah.
Like, why would he send it there?
On the little whiteboard thingy-majig, I thought it said burrito in the back. I was like, that's not how you spell burrito. No, it's Brian. It's BR and then other letters.
Oh,
Hi,
Brian
Shani.
I was like, I need to get my eyes checked.
you might want to.
Hello. Rachelle did know once she saw a bottle of alcohol in the trash, it wasn't a big deal. But she did say she knew she saw the bottle in the trash. That is true.
That's true, but that doesn't mean she didn't still try to stop him. Because I'm kind of with whoever. She was not telling them to. If they told her, if she was saying no, they weren't listening. Jason and Aaron didn't want to listen.
True. And he is spot on with she's about to be 18. He's like, she's going to leave me.
Oh, she wasn't going to leave. She wasn't going to stick around until she was 18. She wasn't sticking around. She was already done. She was trying to cut ties with him now. And he's standing outside her room her room at night saying, I can see like your life. He could tell she was on her computer, but she wasn't talking to him. And then he was upset about it because he's gross.
Yeah. He was like Sputnik spying on you. Sleep easy. Sleep easy.
I would have Sputnik.
Yeah. Hope you get the job, Ash. Hope you get the job.
Yeah, I saw Ash's comment. I hope you get it.
Me too, Ash.
Look, just don't go in there with your T-Rex arms. Or do. Maybe they'll give it to you.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Just like, roar.
Roar. Just do that. Just go in there and just be like, roar.
You'll definitely get the job done.
Hello, Shani.
Howdy.
We're going to find out tonight how this shakes out.
Shake and bake.
Oh, I was going to tell, I don't know if MLS is still here or not. I forgot to say that because I got sidetracked with Carmen, that Jason Arrant, the snitch, basically, he got 50 years, and Brian Riddell got 99 years.
But supposedly. Brian's got to serve 33 until he's eligible to go in front of a judge again and see if he can get out. Jason only has to serve 16 before he is eligible to go in front of a judge and see if he can get out.
He should not.
Those should be flip-flopped. 100% should be flip-flopped. I understand Brian did it. I get that he physically did it. But Jason, I don't think Brian would ever do it again.
Oh, no.
Jason?
Will he get stitches? No,
Probably.
I think he's got boobs tattooed on his back. That's my
What?
hope. That somebody tattooed a pair of boobs on his back. Because a good Sully
Boobs?
sleeps on his belly.
Good Stelly sleeps on his
Oh.
belly.
But good one, AJ.
Big Bubba's like, I like those back boobs.
Yep.
Let's go take a shower.
I know what's wrong with it.
It ain't got no back boobs.
Ain't got no back boobs on it. Mhm.
And play. Oh, that's worse. Oh no. Huh. Okay. And play.
You saw the picture of the window that Brian went in. You could see all the crap in front of it. She's not going to climb out that window. You know why? Because Doc said a couple of things. Number one, this door is noisy. And number two, you're going to have to move all of this stuff. What do you think is going to happen in the middle of the night if you're moving this item and that item and you've got a big box of bolts and nuts? She's going to get hurt. She's going to get hurt. Let's face it. What do teenagers know? They know how to sneak in and out of the house. They know which stairs creak. Okay, you can walk up the middle on the first four, but then you got to go to the side on the fifth. They absolutely know that. If they wanted details, this is the best source of information about the house. And it's not there. But you know what? There's also a big difference between trying to get out of the house and trying to get into the house. It's a lot easier, in one sense, to go out this window because you don't have the door slamming, you don't have things making noise, you don't have problems like that to get out. But what's the easiest way to get in?
Are you okay?
Alive right now.
Are you sad because
Oh, gosh.
I destroyed Snipe Hunter's tattoo idea, or that Frank had?
I had a penis tattoo where my penis was supposed to be. Finally felt like a man.
Oh my god. A roar.
Rawr.
Rawr.
Roar. Roar. Just play.
Well, if Snipe gets his tattoos, then Frank and Snipe can cuddle, and it'll be okay.
Frankensnipe. Frankensnipe. That's a,
Frank and Snipe.
that would be their that would be their celebrity name.
Yes,
Frankensnipe.
it would. Frank and Snipe.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Frank, was it another guy? Was it not another guy?
I'm hitting play.
Oh god, okay.
A key. A key. It wouldn't be any problem at all. Here's the key. See? Not only that, she didn't even have to give them her key. Where is it sitting? It's right up here by the cave. She could have said, where's the picture? She could have said, you know what? Listen, go to the back of the house and I'll show you. The key is right here. You'll see this when you get back to the jury room. You can see the arrow. There's the key. Take it. Go into the house. My mom's on the 3rd floor. You can kill her if you want. It never happens. It never happens. Why? because Jason's not talking to her about killing her mom. Jason's not talking to her because Jason knows that she does not want her mom dead. It isn't that she wants her mom dead, it's that Jason wants Rachelle. It's that Jason wants Rachelle. And so Rachelle comes back. Rachelle comes back. Now, what's interesting is Jason doesn't know if the phone call between the two of them was on Sunday or Monday. So they chatted for a little bit on IN. And Rachelle says there's no phone calls on Sunday. But then the troopers press her, and finally they say, there was a phone call. She says, yes. Was there a phone call on Sunday? I don't know. I think it's possible to tell. What we do know is there's a phone call on Monday. And that phone call and Jason's behavior are very, very interesting. You see, Rachelle goes to school. Mom's gone. Her dad's talked about the wine bottle. Her dad's called the police and said, I'm concerned she's in an accident. And Rachelle is saying, I'm concerned. It's getting all over the school that there's a van, there's a burnt body in it. It's all over. They send her a card. She's crying. She calls Jason. Why does she call Jason? What does she say? She says, what happened to my mom? Do you know what happened to my mom? Because there's a C in the back of her mind. This cannot have happened. I don't want this to have happened. I am going to ignore this. Don Pierce, her godfather, comes. He comes and she is sobbing. She is absolutely sobbing. What's Jason's behavior? Jason that has kept their relationship kind of quiet. Jason that has kept it in the back. It's not the case now. Jason barges right past him. And he's trying once again to separate Rachelle. He's trying to isolate Rachelle. Just like he isolated Rachelle from Brian to prevent the plot, or make sure the plot went through, just like the troopers isolated Rachelle so that she would tell them what they wanted to hear. Jason is trying to isolate Rachelle at this point. Why? Why? Because he wants to make sure that she doesn't give him up in murder. He wants to make sure she keeps quiet. And she sits there and sobs, and Don Pierce takes her home. And Rachelle says, this cannot be happening. You heard Dr. Beyer. You heard Dr. Beyer talk about denial. You heard her friends talk about denial. We talked, if you remember in voir dire, we talked about denial. And I asked about teenagers in denial. I asked, does anybody know, say, a teenage girl that has gotten pregnant, and despite all the signs, their pants aren't fitting, they're going through the changes. I mean, I don't want to be indelicate, but I'm sorry, women know. Women know. But when you're 16 and you don't want to be pregnant for whatever reason, you have a capacity to put on blinders like you don't at any other time in your life. And just like a 16-year-old can say, the worst won't happen to me when I grab onto the fender of a car and I have a skateboard. And just like a 16-year-old with a slowly swelling belly can say, it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening. Rachelle Waterman can say, no, 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 no. So, Rachelle stews. She stews in denial. She stews in loss. She stews in shock. She stews in some way out of guilt. Not legal guilt. Human guilt. Just imagine. Imagine Lauri and Rachelle have a big fight. And Rachelle says, I'm just sick of this. I wish you weren't my mom. And Lauri Waterman gets in a car. She drives down the road. Brakes fail and she's in a crash. Somebody broadsides her. She has a heart attack and she dies. What's the last thing that Rachelle ever said to her mom? what's going to happen to her for the rest of her life. She's going to carry that guilt around. It's human. It's absolutely human. Rachelle sits there and she stews. And the state sits there and says, look at her behavior. It's not normal. You know what? I defy anybody to tell me what is normal in that circumstance. We talked about confirmation bias in voir dire. I talked about how people see what they want to see, how people interpret matters the way that they want to interpret them. It's exactly what's happened here. It's exactly what has happened here. From human experience, from many years of being male police officers, these male police officers said, you know what? I, as a 45, 50-year-old police officer, would not do this. Therefore, it must not be true. That's not the standard, though. That's not the standard. The question is, would a 16-year-old girl do this? Would a 16-year-old girl do this? The answer is yes, she would. She absolutely would. I'm going about an hour. I don't know.
Do you need a break?
If we could take a break at this point, Your Honor, it's also a good place.
So Snipe, your dog, Carmen. I
She's
think
perfect.
he was talking about, if I understand your comment right, when he's kind of talking about the pregnant teen who's pregnant and her body's changing, but she's not facing the consequences of what, like, her actions and what's in front of her. I think he was kind of talking about that. Like, she's telling herself, like, this isn't happening, this isn't true, even though it's all right in front of her. And I think he was saying, like, Rachelle was saying the same thing in her mind. Like, she knew her mom was not here anymore, but she didn't want to face the reality of her mom, that her mom was not here anymore. That's how I took it. And I think it's kind of that risky teen behavior most of us went through. You just don't think anything bad's ever going to happen to you. It's not going to happen to you. Like, you're not going to crash. You're not going to get pregnant. You're not going to whatever. You're not going to get pregnant, Snipe, because that's impossible. But you're not going to get anybody pregnant. Like, it's just those things that our teenage minds are not good at processing. That's the way I kind of took that.
Did you just say
That Snipe can't get pregnant? Yes, I did.
Oh,
and that he can't get anyone pregnant?
I said, it's a teenager if he didn't want to.
Oh, gotcha.
And no, Deidre, their phone, two of them, their phone auto-corrected to Deborah. So
Deborah, yeah.
And
yeah, that happened
that's
to
what
me
they were
too.
saying. That's what they were saying. Sorry, too. They said the wrong name.
So that's the way I took that. I don't know. That's all I got. Me too. I didn't have to. Yeah.
I think I'm the only normal one here.
You're a left-handed lesbian unicorn. I don't want to hear anything about it.
That's what.
Please remember the admonition. Don't discuss the case even with one another. Avoid contact with the parties, witnesses, and others. I don't know if you've had a chance to talk with one another about what you'd like to do in terms of deliberation schedules. And again, I'll leave that to the group to decide. But this break might be one thing that does occur once the jury goes into deliberations, is that at long last the court system will buy you lunch, and so you may want to place your orders with the bailiff during this break. We'll reconvene at noon.
We haven't bought them lunch this whole entire time.
Counsel, I have a note from the jury, several members of the jury, and it reads, 2 concerns. 1, the prosecution keeps whispering and it is too loud and distracting. 2, The audience that ventures in and out is also very distracting. Both of these situations have resulted in missing some closing comments. I heard some whispering in closing arguments by both counsel. I have not been able to carefully watch exactly who was coming and going.
You jumped the defense's ass yesterday when he whispered to Rachelle and told him to stop talking.
Wow.
The state's been
And then she
talking
was
the
like,
entire time.
My bad. I also made a mistake. Hee 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 hee.
Yeah, when he forgot to tell you his client was going to testify, you had to go on about something, and then you forgot something, and you were like, sorry. But yeah, no, they've been whispering the whole entire time. I noticed that too. But she didn't say a word.
Who's been whispering?
The state.
Oh. Well, I'm not surprised
Whispering.
because he has to hear his own voice. So I'm sure he whispers in his sleep.
Probably, and it's slow.
Yeah.
But yet the defense, I could kind of hear them yesterday. Not as bad as I've been able to hear the state today, but it was just brief. And she, like I said, she nailed him. And then she has let the state just go on and on and on and on and on.
Hmm.
Hold on, I
So-
have to address something. Boy, you better watch who you talking to.
Dang.
Arrested.
Arrested. Straight to jail. Straight to jail you go.
Wow. And yeah. What's up, F&D? How you doing?
Hello.
All right. Well, let's see if the state shuts their mouth.
Hello.
I don't even know. I don't know what to do with you two. She does. Not the fluffy kind.
Not here.
Maybe she might have those two. I don't know. Don't need to know. Nobody tell me. I'm good. And play.
But I'm going to ask that both sides refrain from any whispering during closing arguments. And to the extent that it's possible, I'll ask that those persons that are attending the trial try to refrain from going in and out while closing arguments continue. Beyond that, other than advising the jury when they return that I've related their concerns to counsel and to the audience, anything else you want me to do?
No, Your Honor.
No, ma'am.
All right. I am also advised that at the close of arguments today, the jury has decided that they'd like to go home and begin their deliberations first thing in the morning.
Okay.
So I expect that they will be released with an admonition after you've concluded your closing arguments. Finally, with respect to discharging 2 of the 14 jurors that are now in the box, it would be my inclination to explain the need for 12 jurors again to decide the issues that have been presented and inquire whether there's anyone that has travel or health or other issues that might preclude them from being able to fully participate in deliberations. Any objection to my doing that?
No, Your Honor. I think that's appropriate.
Okay.
Are you going to give over the next 4 or 5 days or something like that?
I'm not going to give them a timeline.
Okay.
I'll probably tell them, as is true, that deliberations, the length of deliberations is not something I can guess.
Okay.
Let's bring in the jury. We continue on record with State versus Rachelle Waterman, with Ms. Waterman, counsel, the officers, others, and of course the jury all present. Before I turn to Mr. Wells for completion of his closing argument, I can tell you that I have shared your concerns about distractions by the audience or by counsel whispering or persons whispering with everyone present in the courtroom. And I can't close the courtroom. Obviously, it's open to the public, but I'm hopeful that that won't be a problem for the remainder of the closing arguments. Let me turn to Mr. Wells.
Thank you, Your Honor. When we broke, I was talking about teenagers and the capacity for denial and what happened to Rachelle when she got back. And how after Jason came and she is sobbing, she blinds herself. She blinds herself and refuses to accept anything that Jason might have done to cause this. And the problem that I said with this case is that it was investigated by two people, primarily. Never been a 16-year-old girl. What they do, which is what all of us do, is imagine themselves in circumstances. We think, what would I do? What would I do? What would I do? Without the experience of being a 16-year-old girl, of having those troubles, it's very hard for officers to understand why Rachelle behaved the way she did. That's why Dr. Beyer came in. That's why Dr. Beyer said, look, all of that is consistent with denial. It's consistent with shock. It's consistent with grief. The state wants to say, no, it's not. It is only consistent with matricide. They point out that matricide is a word that means the killing of one's mother. But matricide is very, very rare, particularly by girls. It's extremely rare. You can gauge how rare this type of thing is because for the first time since the Exxon Valdez case, national media attention is focused on Alaska. That should tell you just how rare it is, the idea even of a teenage girl killing her mom is. On the other hand, we tell you, no, it's not a teenage girl that wants her mom killed. It's a teenage girl that doesn't have the experience to realize a bad relationship. It's a teenage girl that doesn't have the experience to realize that she's playing with fire with Jason Aaron. That this isn't just a friendly relationship, but this is somebody that's dangerous. That this is a teenage girl who said things and felt things and thought things that teenage girls think, feel, say, and it got used against her. Now, one way that you can decide this case, or one factor in deciding this case, is how realistic. How realistic is this? When we talk about proof beyond a reasonable doubt, that means there can't be a doubt based on common sense or experience. I don't like to sit here and say there's reasonable doubt because there's plenty of evidence that Rachelle is innocent. If I stand up here and say, you know what, there's reasonable doubt, what I'm saying is you can't prove it. If I say you can't prove it, I'm saying she's guilty. I mean, we all know that's how it works. That's not the case here. But you can look at common sense and experience and say, which story makes more sense? Which is more grounded in the common reality of humanity? Let's talk about that. Every year in this country, booksellers sell millions of books. This happens to be a university text, Understanding Child Behavioral Disorders. But we go on. Parenting teenagers. Repeat after me. You and your adolescent. How to live with your teenager. Here's another one, how to live with your teenager. One is 52 Steps to Success. This one is a survivor's guide for parents. We've got Between Parent and Teenager. We've got When Families Fight. We have The Psychology of Women. We start getting into some other issues. Men Who Hate Women and the Women Who Love Them. Girl Power. Young Women Speak Out. Parent-Teen Breakthrough. Girls Are Equal Too. Codependence, Misunderstood, Mistreated. Parents, Teens, and Boundaries, How to Draw the Line. How to Parent Your Tweenager. The Cinderella Complex, The Myth of Women's Masochism, Women Who Love Too Much. Every year, we literally have millions. I mean, you want to talk about the tip of the iceberg? You want to talk about the tip of the iceberg? This is the tip of the iceberg. I could fill the well of this courtroom up with books on giving advice for parents and teenagers and for people in relationships, particularly on how to avoid bad relationships. Who's standing up here saying some far-fetched theory? It's not us. These books would not sell millions of copies if these weren't everyday common problems of men and women and teenagers across this country. These books would not sell copies, millions of copies, if people across this country did not say there are some problems in.
I don't agree with him on that one. He's stretching.
I didn't hear what he said.
He's sitting here saying these books wouldn't sell millions of copies if whatever. You can find a book about anything. Doesn't make it real, doesn't make it right, even the books that Cheyenne has. These are studies that are done, but then you can go to this other book and it completely goes against what this book says because they had a different study. He's grabbing, he's reaching right now. He was doing fine, but now he's reaching, in my opinion.
He's going to talk for about an hour and a half. They each asked for 2 hours for their closings. The state already took their 2 hours, but they still get rebuttal. And trust me, it was bad. We were all just wanted to, well, I can't say because that would be wrong. There's no round 27.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh my gosh, Carmen, we have one discussion.
Has he changed his outfit?
Who?
The defense.
No? Today?
No, I'm at all.
Well, you got to remember that, there's rebuttal. There is rebuttal. Sorry. You got to remember that their closing arguments all took place in one day.
I understand that, but I'm saying,
yes, he's
I think
changed.
I think he had the same thing on in his opening statement. Maybe that's just what he does: opening, closing.
Maybe he's like a baseball player. This works.
I'm just saying, if she don't go to jail, his laptop's getting flipped.
Alrighty then.
Actually, I won't because this was a gift from you. Can't say my phone either because I was also a gift from you. Stop buying me things. I can't break it.
I'm just watching Flashman struggle with brakes.
Brakes. Press. Brakes.
It just kept coming up pressed. And he's just delete.
Hold on, I have to screenshot that. I didn't say slapbox. I said I was going to flip my laptop. And then I said I can't because it was a gift from my parents. And then I was like, well, I'll throw my phone. And then I can't because it was a gift from my parents. So this pin, that's getting tossed. That's all I got.
You have no idea, Deidre. It was bad. It was just so bad. It was so repetitive. Like he went through, he basically retried his case and then retried it again. Like we all know it now from memory. It was not good. I will say his PowerPoint was nice and stuff. And he used the legal term, and stuff a lot.
Descriptive. Yeah. We all had to sit here for 2 hours. Every single one of us. Just kidding. I wasn't in here. I was sleeping.
Say the lies you tell. But his rebuttal's only 24 minutes.
43.
No, it's not. It's not. Trust me.
I'm gonna trust you.
I'm a professional.
Don't worry, guys. I'm a professional. I know what I'm talking about. It's half that time.
My relationships. I don't seem to recognize dangerous relationships. Which one is more common? There's, I don't know, 15, 20 books there. How many hundreds, how many thousands more could I have gotten? It's a tip of the iceberg. Well, I'm not saying some fancy, crazy, made-up theory. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something that we see every day. I asked you if you remember in voir dire what it would take to make you say something that you hadn't done. I asked whether you think that would be easier for an adult or a teenager to be manipulated. We all agreed it's easier for a teenager. Why? Because they don't have the experiences, because they are more vulnerable. That's why we protect them. That's why we have laws that you can't have sex with them when you're over a certain age. That's why we have laws that you can't take pictures of them because you're not old enough to give consent. That's why we say, listen, you can't have surgery. As a surgeon, you can't operate on somebody under an age of 18 without parents' permission. You can't sign a contract. You can't buy a house. You can't buy a car. You can't do these things because we understand that teenagers don't always see the consequences of their actions. Rachelle Waterman did not see the consequences. What would happen if she was made to agree with Jason Aaron's statement? Now, I want to be clear here. She does not ever say in there, you know what, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Give the details or the plans. She says yes when some questions are put to her. What she says is, I knew it was going to happen and I didn't want it to happen. But she says it after a very long interview. She said, she makes a couple of interesting statements, I think, that are important to understand her. She's asked, why did you essentially cover up? Amidst her sobs, she says, I didn't want my dad to know I ever thought those things. I didn't want my dad to know I ever felt those things. That's not a surprise. She didn't tell her dad about some of the problems she had with mom. She didn't tell her dad about the sex assault. She wants to protect her dad. She gets into that room. She's isolated from him. Police come by when they know that she's not there. Her defense is it's legal. It may be legal, but it ain't right.
I wish you wouldn't sit like that. That's weird.
It ain't right. They take her away from her dad from protection while she's at her most vulnerable. They keep pounding on her. They keep telling her, they're giving her, here's what we know. How do they know what they know? From Jason Aaron. We're going to talk about his statement in a little bit. I'm going to go through it. But I want you to know that you cannot convict Rachelle Waterman unless you are convinced that Jason Aaron is telling only the truth from that stand. If you have questions about what Jason Aaron said, you have to find Rachelle Waterman not guilty. And let's face it, Jason Aaron was a lying sack of snitch. There was no two ways about it. They get Rachelle in there, and they start talking to her. Now, here's where the timeline becomes important. Here's why I went through the timeline first. They say, you knew. She says, well, yeah, I did. You did nothing to stop it. She says, no, I did something to stop it. Goes back and forth. When did she know? When did she know? She knew when she called Jason, when she happened to call Jason. And he said, Brian's out there now. She says, stop it. She says, stop it. I don't want it to happen. You go back and you read that interview, and it's clear that by the end, we're ping-ponging. We're ping-ponging back and forth. And she's mixing up things that happen in September, things that happen up in November. It's clear that the interview techniques have worked. You remember what Dr. Byers said? Under this intense pressure, when somebody is given just this overwhelming mountain of evidence, so to speak, they're told again and again and again, we have you. It's not a question of whether you go down. It's a question of how hard. You have a choice. You can act like a grown woman and admit the truth, or you can act like a little girl and lie. Girl. She's 16 years old. That is demeaning. It's one thing to say you're not mature enough to buy a car. It's another thing to sit there and say, you little girl. Calls her a drama queen, and enough of your lies. Points, yells. I'm not going to do this. Whenever she says, no, I tried to stop it, you keep saying, we don't want to hear it. You know what? She's talking about this. She's talking about this. If you look at Brian, if you look even at Jason, no information is supposed to go to Rachelle. Problem is, troopers not ask the right questions of Brian. He sat there and said, you know what? They never asked me this. They never asked me. Okay? I told them what they wanted to know. They didn't seem to want to know that. And they never start at the beginning. Okay, let's talk about this. When did you start? And when, and then when, and when, and when. Okay, when were you doing it? And was this still going out? And were you doing this? And then here's a great question. Here's a great question. When did you ask Jason to kill your mom for you? It's like the old Groucho Marx routine. When did you stop beating your wife? When did you stop beating your wife? If you go back and, I don't know, August? Here, stop. Here it is. Some answer. Will you go away? Will you leave me alone? And they break her. They break her. By the end, she sits in that room for an hour, sobbing. Sergeant McPherson comes in and she says, "Can you just stay here? Can you just keep me?" He's already made his mind up. He's already made his mind up that Jason, Aaron, telling the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, we talked about false confessions. We talked about them in the beginning of this case in Fort Deer. This isn't really a confession. We'll call it a statement. I pointed out over 122 people have walked off death row. It's almost 500 people that have walked out of prison. Death row, you can't get the death penalty except for murder. You can't get the death penalty except for murder. Sergeant Abid said you generally have 8 to 12 people on a case. You figure about, 10 cops on a homicide case, plus all your lab people, plus all of this. 122 people walked off a death row. You know what that means? That means that over 1,200 cops that were absolutely convinced of somebody's guilt were wrong. We've got, I don't know how many hundreds that have walked out for other cases that don't involve death. Rape, robbery, whatever. How many cops there? You guys go back and you make a decision and you talk about this. What's going to happen? Ask yourself, are we so sure? Are we so sure about what she said that we know Rachelle Waterman would not be number 123 in the class we had today? Are we so sure? The answer is no. No, because you can look and watch layer after layer after layer of defenses stripped and beaten away. Stripped and beaten away in an effort to get her to corroborate what Jason says. But at the end, she doesn't do it. At the end, between the questions, she doesn't go up and down. Because the questions don't distinguish, if you look very well, between September and November. They go back and forth. And it's clear at times she's talking about this and they're talking about here. And they're not talking with each other. They're talking at each other. And it's just blah, 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 blah. and nothing is happening. There's no communication. There's no communication. Now, as I said, police base this, say what they want. They base this upon Jason Aaron's statement because, I mean, let's face it, they've got zilch. They've got an email that they say comes from Jason to Rachelle. But again, what does hunting trip mean? Why look at the problems with the statements, with the times? They don't match up. They've got a bunch of letters from Jason to Rachelle, but only 4 of them are found in the debris in her locker. There's no letters from Rachelle to Jason that ever talk about any sort of plot. All she ever talks about are the fancies of a 16-year-old girl who wants to get married and go off and live in a house, and have kids, and a dog, and a cat. Essentially, they've got Jason's statements. Jason alone. When I say Jason alone, I mean Jason alone. Because every one of her friends that came in and talked, I asked them, I said, did you see anything different in the months before her mom died? Anything that would say she was anything other than a teenage girl? And what was the answer? The answer was unanimous. No, I never saw anything. Lorraine Pierce said, Lauri was concerned. Maybe she was depressed. Trooper Claus said, you know what? She was engaging in risky behavior. Was there anything about her attitude, anything about her relationship with her mother, anything about that said that she was anything other than a teenage girl? No. You know what also her friends did not say? They brought in a bunch of people to talk on this stand. Sergeant Habib, in the interview, asks her, he says, you're telling people that your mom died in a drunk driving accident. She says, I'm a pessimist. He says, you're telling people that you're not going to do your mom's laundry. Well, you know what? Nobody from this stand said that. Nobody ever said that. And yet, what is Rachelle's response? I'm joking. I'm good. She starts making excuses. You have to wonder, at that point, is she broken? At that point, is she already parroting back what they're saying? Every one of her friends that came in said, you know what, Rachelle seems fine. So, again, Rachelle's either the most cold-blooded, psychopathic bitch monster that's ever walked the face of this earth. She didn't know what was going to happen. She didn't want it to happen. Jason said she was getting really nervous. She was getting paranoid. She was getting fidgety. Well, let's see. Ian Lindrum didn't notice it. John Wilburn didn't notice it. Stephanie Claus didn't notice it. Amanda Boslow didn't notice it. Katrina Nelson didn't notice it. Don Pierce didn't notice it. Lorraine Pierce didn't notice it. Trooper Claus didn't notice it. There's 8 people. Remember what I asked Jason about every last one of them? Between you and every one of these 8 people, who is trying to salvage the remainder of his life? You said me. He said me. He gives other details. And see, this is part of the problem when you wind up with such a vague theory for prosecution. When you wind up with such a vague theory for whether Rachelle should go to jail or not. It's real easy to sit there and point because Jason was there, Brian was there. We know what they did. We know we can sit there and say, here, we've got the evidence. But by and large, with the way that this case is set up, what evidence are we going to have of Rachelle? We're going to have statements. You think a 16-year-old kid's going to be smart enough to get everything off the email, particularly when Jason, if this is what the plan means, when Jason's got it on his computer? You think if they're sitting there really talking about this, that if this is what they want, that her computer would turn up empty? No. The fact is, the state comes in and says, Jason's computer has the letters. Jason's a 25-year-old man. Jason knows a lot about computers. If those letters deal with the plan, he wasn't very smart about getting them off his computer. Why should we think Rachelle's going to be any smarter? There's nothing on her computer. There's nothing from her house. What ties her is Jason Arendt. Jason Arendt is looking to salvage the remainder of his life. He's looking to sell a teenage girl. Essentially, if he can't have her, nobody else will, particularly if it means that he can get out of jail. You heard Brian Riddell, and you saw his demeanor. He's facing the maximum punishment. He's facing the maximum punishment. 99 years in prison. Jason has a cap of 50. That means that he can ask that it go lower. He can ask that it be less. Remember what he said? We were talking about convictions. He said, if I remember correctly, he thinks, and again, it's not important whether it's true or not, it's important whether he thinks it. His chances for the court accepting his plea are better if Rachelle is convicted.
Will you pause it real quick? Sorry, I don't mean to keep stopping.
Huge.
Just because Baker's here, Baker, I with like the buy me a coffee. It should like the large amount that was raised on your live. That should be in my account tomorrow, I believe, and then I'm gonna order everything. So hopefully it will be here by next Saturday. So maybe we can set something up, but I'll let you know.
Good. Also, Baker, I heard your chat was quite spicy today. Spicy, spicy.
Hey, Sticky.
Yeah, no corresponding letters on her computer. Everything was only on Jason's computer. So
Yeah,
there was
that's
nothing.
the weirdest part right there.
That's what I'm
That-
saying. Like, she didn't even respond to him. There's nothing.
It's very odd.
Or they
And-
just didn't find it.
Well,
I think they would have found it. She can't be that, like, I agree with him that she's not that smart to hide it.
it's a strip club. It's a strip club in here.
What's up, Sticky? And speaking of Sticky, are we going because they're sticky?
Well, I mean, I was gonna go on vacation, but we can go to the strip club.
It's a strip club up in here. No, that's Sticky also. No worries, Sticky, because I know you're busy. I've been busy, so
Well,
you
No
are
excuse.
very, very
well,
good.
Snipe. Actually, that's Flash Fan who's on the poll.
Yeah, he was like, I'm going to send you a poll. And I was like, keep it for yourself. And he said, I'm not spending money on that. Like, were you going to steal it to send it to me?
Probably.
Flash fan. How do you know she doesn't already have one?
Oh,
Good
you might
point.
be talking about rings for peens, giving head, and taking head. Well,
Wow.
That's not really in my realm, so I didn't engage in your chat.
Wow. Wow.
I took notes though.
Broken Baker set up a magnetic coil in your door frame. When they go through the door, they wipe clean. Wow.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Deidre, come on, Baker. Spill them beans. Sharon, I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. I should know. I should be leaning one way or another by now. And the state has convinced me of nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I disagree.
And I know a lot of people do. And I still think she just ran her mouth and did not think
It doesn't matter.
that
You're
it was going to
still-
happen.
There are consequences for your actions.
Yeah, I just don't know that she had any actions other than her boyfriend's. There was a lot of
It
action
is.
apparently there.
Running your mouth is an action. There are consequences for your actions. She didn't stop it.
Because I don't think she knew it was going to actually happen. That's what I'm telling you. You throw your little
And
blue
Flash
screws
fan.
notepad.
Flash
go
Fan, it's
pick it up.
way more than round 4. It's round 29 at this point.
I think that she should be hit with first and second degree? Absolutely not. That's a whole different ballgame. That's a whole different.
Well, I don't
crime.
think she should have been charged with kidnapping. She wasn't even there.
Well,
Yeah.
you didn't stop it.
But whoever, I'm with you. Like, what was the action? If she didn't know something was going to happen, how can she stop it?
Right.
If she's sitting here disclosing things that she is potentially making up things and he's saying, I'm going to go do this, and you do absolutely nothing to stop it, you are just as guilty.
But she would have thought that maybe she was just venting and he was just venting with her. We've all been in those
Then
situations
why would
where
you
you
why would
just
you give
vent,
a
but you
layout to a
didn't.
house?
Did she though?
Yes.
Or did
There's no
he?
proof of that.
There's no proof that she did it. There's
She
no-
flat out, she admitted she did it. Go back and
Where?
look at the interrogation.
Okay.
She flat out admits it.
I cannot. I
She did.
cannot
She,
put a lot of weight in their interrogation. Don't ask me to put weight on their interrogation when they can't give me evidence. I have nothing to compare. Zero.
Oh, so you just flat out, oh yeah, detective.
Oh yeah, Carmen.
At this day, I definitely told somebody what the layout of the house was, but I'm not guilty of anything.
Yeah. You know, remember that guy that you were
Come on.
talking about that walked into the police station and confessed to hundreds of unalivings but didn't do a single one of them? They
I'm
had
not
to
saying
prove
it doesn't
and
happen.
they didn't prove it. They just closed the book and said, "We got him," and they didn't.
I'm not saying that every police
a
work is
problem.
good.
That's a problem.
well, that's what
You-
I'm saying.
he also- but he
Jessica.
never went to trial for it either,
I don't understand the kidnapping charge.
because she
I
was
just
bound.
don't.
Good.
She was
You got
what?
somebody's on my. She was bound. Her mom was bound.
Yeah, but
So-
how is she being charged with a
It's
kidnapping charge if
If
she wasn't
you-
there?
Way.
If you give somebody access to your house and then they are bound, depending on the state, you are just as guilty of the charge of kidnapping as the person
Right.
that did it.
Correct. But where's the proof that she did that or said that?
Because
She
the window that she said that Jason said that she snuck in and out of was not the right one.
I don't care what Jason says. Jason's a moron.
Jason is their only.
Jason is
Jason's-
their only proof. It's hearsay.
Mm,
Carmen, you
not
have to go
true.
back and listen because
I
You
did
have to go
listen,
back and
but it's not
No.
hearsay when it comes out of her own mouth.
She did not tell him. Jason is the one who he got the window wrong. That's not the one she
That's-
snuck in and out of. Her dad
Cool.
even
I-
corroborated that
don't-
evidence. That
I
that
don't
was
care
wrong.
about
So
what
then
Jason.
She's not giving him information, but Jason says she's giving him information. This all
I
still just draws a circle around Jason.
No, no
Baker,
one is disagreeing.
Baker, stay out of this.
Baker, come help. I don't care what.
No, you. Oh my god! Bye, Carmen. I'm so sorry.
It's just me and my new co-host. I'll start calling you. Gabby, I'll start calling you on my way home from my dad's again.
Oh my god! Please don't put me in the middle. I hate it. I'm gonna curl up in a corner, rocking back and forth. I didn't know she was gonna do that, Carmen. I swear.
Anyways, I don't.
Anywho,
Jason said. Jason's already
you
been. to
should.
court. This isn't Jason's trial. This is
You're
Rachelle's
right.
trial.
It's not.
So therefore, I don't
but-
care.
But you have to take into account why we're here. And why we're here is because of what Jason said.
I
100%.
understand that, but
And-
I don't care if he got the window wrong.
It's kind of
What
a
sh-
big
what-
deal because that's the window he
Doesn't
went
matter.
inside of.
Great.
So again, information from Jason, not Rochelle.
Well, so we're just going to dismiss what came out of Rochelle's own mouth? That's not right.
Give me something to
we might
back
as
me
well-
up with. Give me
It's her
something.
own
There's not
testimony.
even okay. And I will go back to what I've told you the whole time.
Because you're
can't-
putting weight on another trial that
yeah,
has.
but
like,
they
But
got
that's
them
not
to
the same
confess to things they
trial.
never even did using the same technique.
but that you got to separate your trials. That's not
I
the same
can
trial.
separate the trial, but I don't separate the technique. This creepy investigator here, he's creepy AF, and you know he is.
Who cares?
He had
Just
his
because
truth.
he's creepy.
He had his truth, and that's all he wanted. That is all he was going to accept.
Mm-mm-mm.
Don't you do that to me. I will ground you from 1,000 miles away right now. Put that beer down. You can't have any more.
I love Carmen. That was the best. If AJ gets unalived after this, we know who did it.
It's all Jason says this, and that's how he knows he will never get.
Again, I'm not saying that Jason wasn't the main part in this. I'm not saying that at all. But you can't just completely dismiss what she has said.
I can when they have fed her a ton of what it was to begin with. When she says, I don't know, you seem to know, you tell me what I did.
There was other things that they did not disclose, and she did. That had not been said yet. I don't know. Don't make me list it off. I've slept since then. But if you go back and look,
Carmen, wait a minute, Carmen.
100% whoever. Go ahead, Gabby. Sorry.
No, I was just saying. You said, wait, what did you just say?
I don't remember. You tell me.
Exactly. Neither do I. Oh, that's what I was going to say.
It's not about emotion.
You had
law, ma'am.
You had time to go back to write down what Flash fan said in chat. But
which took up all my time. I have 4 pages of what he said.
Well,
I'm not saying that they weren't good. I have a whole book right here. I took a whole class on the read technique. I'm
sorry.
I'm not doubting that.
Certified in the read technique. The read technique is shit. It has had so many freaking holes put in it. It is a shit technique. I will be the first one to say that. But they really didn't go that hard on the read technique with that interrogation. They really didn't.
They didn't have to.
Because if you're about to say because she was a 16-year-old girl, I don't care.
Okay, well, it does matter.
Okay, so you're going to say the same thing with Carly Gregg? She was 14.
Yeah, she's clearly a psychopath. And we saw that in action.
Who's to say that Rachelle Waterman isn't a psychopath?
Then just give me the proof of it. They have it. They can't even give me the proof that she even made a phone call that they have made her do it.
But then do we know that? Do we know what was approved and denied by the judge? What could be and could not be presented?
They would let a phone call in.
Where's the blog?
I don't think there was anything in it. That's why it's not here.
I don't know. They talk about it a lot.
Push play. I will.
Well, they do talk about it a lot, and I wish they would have let that in. But they don't. And that's the other thing. It's like you can only go off of what is here. And what is here is 4 empty envelopes of evidence. There's a lot that's just not here. And that's the thing that is aggravating to me, because I feel like her blog might hold some stuff, but like Carmen said, it could have gotten thrown out by the judge before the trial. So we just don't know. That's the thing.
Know. That's the we don't know. If they had emails,
and I will say this though. Carly Gregg, you can't compare this to Carly Gregg. I'm sorry, but Carly Gregg was caught on camera in her house doing the deed. She's caught on it. She's caught on it. There's no cameras here. There's no cameras here. There's no evidence.
But who's to say that the blog wouldn't show absolutely everything?
You're right. Who's to say? But guess what? It's not here, so we can't say. So technically, there's no evidence here.
There is
Carly
evidence.
Gregg
Came
is
out
a
of her own mouth.
completely different situation. You see Carly Gregg on film. They
But
caught
just-
her red-handed.
Okay, let's go on completely different situations. My mom is going off of things from another trial that wasn't fair whatsoever. And yes, they confess to something that they didn't do, but completely different police techniques and tactics were used in that.
My God.
So
Let's go. Now it's not the time.
I don't know. We'll see. If you and I
That's
were
what I
sitting on
mean.
the
There's- it's
jury,
just-
Carmen, there wouldn't be.
It's
we would
just
not
very up
convince
in
each
the
other.
air. It's very up in the air. It goes. I go very back and forth with it because the interrogation was. I was like, oh my God, what did she say? Oh, she said this. She said that. She confessed to this. She confessed to that. And then you hear other stuff, and you're like, wait a minute, what just happened? This completely contradicts what I just saw. You know, so it puts you in two different places. In my opinion, it puts me in two different places.
I've
I
gone
mean,
back
but
and
that's
forth this entire thing. Like but
Mm.
now that we're at the end and now all the evidence is in, you're not making me lean one way or the other.
I don't think that she's innocent of everything, of every charge.
Well, I don't. Well,
I don't know if she is or she isn't. I'm just saying it's like
right.
you can't if you can't at least get me over to your guilt. Oh, I mean, my gosh, I can't convict you.
I'm not saying convict her on the big stuff. That would be wrong. But no, it's not. It depends on the state.
I was going to
Depends on
say
the state.
they got to prove that you've done it.
Yeah, it depends on the state. It used to be legal. It's not illegal. It's just highly grounded.
All right, I'm hitting play.
All
I feel
right.
like this has slowed down and I have sped it up.
Well, one more notch won't hurt.
I mean, I will hit
0.5
another
faster.
Huge motive to lie. You can say what you want. That is a huge motive to lie. And nothing that Jason has said about Rachelle, his involvement with Rachelle, has been corroborated. He talked about how he went to see Rachelle at the school. And he said, I went in and talked with her, and then I left. Not what Don Pierce said. Who has the motive to lie? Who's trying to salvage the remainder of his life? He said, I drove up to the house, and then I see Chief C, and he says, hang on. And so I waited. It's not what Chief C said. It's not what Don Pierce said. They both said he left. Fact of the matter is that Jason didn't change his story about Rachelle's involvement until after he had made 6 different statements. He makes a statement to the police on Wednesday morning and says, don't know anything about it. He comes back Wednesday afternoon and says, it might be Ian Lendrum because he was pretty angry. He comes back Wednesday night, actually calls them and says, I was just assaulted, and the person said something worse will happen to Rachelle. So the police talked to him then on Thursday, and he says, well, I know who did it, and gave him a ride. He gets a glass warrant, says, you know what? Listen, Rachelle had nothing to do with it, and he gets statements from Brian. And then they come and they talk to him on Friday, and they go through it, and he says, okay, I did it, I planned it, I was going to keep her safe, da-da-da. Why do you think he's saying I'm going to keep her safe? Because he can't say I'm going to keep her because I want to keep having sex with her. He can't say I want Lauri out of the way. I want Lauri out of the way because, listen, I view Rachelle as my sexual plaything. And when she's gone, I'm taking action. And so at the end of the interview, did Rachelle know about this? No. Did Rachelle have anything to do with this? No. Did Rachelle want this? No. Okay, thank you. And then the door opens. Sergeant Habib walks in. Sergeant Habib, who has done some peripheral investigation. Sergeant Habib, who's kind of done some of the technical aspects. Sergeant Habib, whose friend happens to be Jason's mom. Remember what he said? Dispatchers are our lifeline. I don't doubt that for a second. But what was it? Go back and listen to the testimony. What was it that he said to Jason? He said, I could walk away from this. I could walk away and say, case fucking closed, man, but it's not, because I got too much respect for your mom to believe that you did this by yourself. I got a question for you. What does Jason's mom have to do with this case? Why does his respect for Jason's mom mean that Jason couldn't have done this by himself? You know what? In our system, Lady Justice is supposed to be blind. You've all seen the statutes. She holds out the scales. In one hand, she's got the sword in the other. And what's around her face? A blindfold. Why? Because in our system, it shouldn't matter who is up there. In our system, if you're guilty, from the President of the United States down to somebody that is homeless, anywhere in between, if you're guilty, you should go to prison. Not to Sergeant Abib, though. Not to Sergeant Abib. Hey, Jason, listen, I know I know you got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. I know this is murder one. I know you're looking at decades in prison. But I have too much respect for your mom to believe this. I have too much respect for your mom to believe you did this by yourself. I have too much respect for your mom. Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? You should have too much respect for the oath you took as jurors and for the oath that you deal with in deciding this case to let that crap go on. It's just. And so Jason says, okay, I'll tell you what you want to know. Yeah, she did put me up to it. And here's what happened. And he mixes enough truth in with his lies. For example, about the September 29th incident, when Rachelle calls him and says, what are you doing? Stop, I don't want this. And he goes on. And he says, yeah, and we planned it. And she told me all this. And she told me how to get into the house. Again, he starts talking about how she would sneak out of the house in the garage. And that's the window she told me to go out of. Do you remember I asked him, I said, if she wanted her mom dead, wouldn't it be easier to give you the key? Jason wouldn't have to take all of that stuff in. And he said, I'm not an expert in planning murders. Remember that? Fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, Jason is absolutely, completely unbelievable when he talks about Rachelle. He made it clear he is out to save his own hide. His actions show him to be predatory, show him to be a stalker, show him to be a manipulator, show him to be a liar, show him to be a murderer. I don't know about anybody else. But right now, I smell that brimstone from the depths of hell. Because the state made a deal with the devil. That devil is Jason Arrington. They bought his testimony. They bought his testimony to implicate a 16-year-old girl. Bought his testimony to implicate a 16-year-old girl because Sergeant Habib's not going to let a son, a friend of his, go down for murder and get such a harsh sentence. Convict Rachelle, you're saying we have no doubts about Jason Arrington. And he's given you plenty of reason to doubt him. Don't ignore the inconsistencies. Don't ignore the statements of his that don't make sense. Don't ignore the proof of Rachelle's innocence. And believe Jason Arrington. Now, I'm going to close here in a couple of minutes. You all are probably saying, thank God. But I want to talk with you about some little details. I want to talk with you about what happens when you go back in the jury room. Because there aren't really a whole bunch of things that do. First of all, nobody's vote is more important than anybody else's. Nobody's vote is. There's a big long table in there that you can sit down at. You know, we have a legend, at least in our culture, of King Arthur. King Arthur and the Round Table. Why did King Arthur have the Round Table? Because nobody was more important than anybody else. You might think, instead of sitting around that table, push it over the side and sit around in a circle. Sit around in a circle so you can all see one another and talk. You'll elect a foreperson at one of these times, but as the judge said, the foreperson is no more important, no less important than any one of you. The foreperson is just the person that signs the form and communicates. You all make this decision. You all make it based on your own experiences, based on your own perceptions, based upon what you have dealt with. I don't envy what you're about to go through. But in our system, we don't let anybody be punished. We don't let anybody be found found guilty until not the police, the prosecutor, the judge, but the jury. Jury of peers says there is no doubt. There is no doubt about this case. There's no doubt based on reason, common sense, or experience. If you look at Rachelle and say she's a 16-year-old girl, and everything that she does is explained by being a 16-year-old girl, she didn't want her mom dead, you have to say, not guilty. I'll tell you something else I would suggest when you go back there. Judge has given you all instructions. Best place to start is instruction number 11. Instruction number 11, because that's what the law says. It says that you start with the presumption of innocence. What that means is that you put on a sort of goggles, deal with innocence, and you look at the facts. Does innocence explain these facts? If it does, you say not guilty. If you have questions, if it doesn't make sense, then you put on much more narrow goggles, deal with guilt. But even then, you don't say guilty. You only say guilty if after you put on narrow goggles of guilt, it's absolutely clear. If you put on the narrow goggles of guilt and it still doesn't explain, you have to say not guilty. So I would start with instruction number 11. I would also ask you not to take anything that I have done and hold it against my client. I know I'm kind of flamboyant, dramatic, and some people don't like that. This is the most important decision that Rachelle Waterman is ever going to experience. And it's not even in her hands. It's not in my hands. I'll tell you how terrifying. And I don't want my style to carry over and affect Rachelle. So if it has, I'm sorry. Hold it against me, not her. When you go back and you look at this, I know that you will find that Rachelle is just a teenage girl. I know that you will find that Rachelle, like teenagers, just made stupid mistakes. She didn't want her mom dead. Brian Liddell said something that's very interesting. So Lauri was out on the side of that road. As he was trying to kill her, before he did kill her, she kept asking, she kept saying, I'm sorry, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? What question did she want to ask? Why? Why are you doing this to me? What answer would Lauri Waterman accept? Lauri Waterman would accept Jason saying, I'm doing this because I view you as getting between me and what I view as my sexual plaything. Lauri Waterman would never accept that Rachelle wanted. You shouldn't either. You know why? Sitting in Rachelle's nightstand is the letter from her mom. It's the last thing that we have from Lauri Waterman. She says, my dearest daughter, I'm sorry things between us are tense right now. Please don't feel like I think you're a bad person because you're not. I know I worry way too much about you, but that's what moms do when they love their daughters as much as I love you. You know those commercials on TV where they tell parents to always know what your kids are doing? I take that to heart. I really think parents need to stay in their kids' lives and know what's going on. If you feel you pulling away from us and friends and everything, and I want us to be close and you be able to tell me things or just talk about nothing or anything. I wish you understood how much you're loved, how proud your father and I are of you, how much we believe you can do or be anything you want, how much your father and I brag about your talents. You're a wonderful volleyball player, and whether you know it or not, a baseball and basketball player, and I love watching you play sports. Your great ability, the way that you concentrate and hustle. Everyone sees it. Everyone sees it, and I don't mind hearing myself brag about it. I do tell everyone who will listen.
Your musical ability is astounding. Where in the world would you get all that talent? Not from me. Playing the piano, singing, you can't stop me from bragging about your singing. I guess sometimes you just hear Jeffrey. You don't hear all the Rachelles. Why would she eat this? Why would this be her nightstand? Why? It's because she loved her mom. It's because she did not want her mom to die. You know what? This has gone on long enough. It's time to put this to rest. You can't bring back Lauri Waterman. You can reunite Rachelle and her dad. I ask you to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Wells.
Whoopsies. Let me fix that. Sorry. I wanted to stop this because even though I had sped everything up, now we get closed captioning for the. Ugh. All right, hang on to your seats because exciting time is happening right now.
Hey, my lord.
Here's
Oh,
the,
and Haley Mouse, you're not missing anything. The goggles, that's just me being stupid. He's like, look into your goggles. So I did.
narrow.
The narrow goggles. But dinosaurs, that's because Ash sounds like a dinosaur when she laughs. There you go. Now you caught up.
I have it sped up. I had the last guy sped up, and I swear he's just kept slowing down, and I kept speeding him back up. So I'm gonna start this guy off sped up, and then if he slows down, but we only got like 24 minutes of him.
All right, Steady boy. Bring it home.
He won't.
Or else
I'm just saying. It doesn't matter if he had the perfect case. He can't bring it home. He sucks. I'm sorry. Now comes the suck.
And quite a bit of it was spent on Mr. Arendt, calling him a child molester, a stalker. Why is he using these phrases? To build up an emotion in you about it. Now, why does he want to do that? Because he wants you to have a lower opinion of Mr. Arendt so that you'll believe what he has to say. Interestingly enough, he never uses those same words with Mr. Riddell. Why? Because when Mr. Riddell testified, he gave testimony favorable to the defendant about it. It was Jason that provided all this, came to me. And he mentioned Rachelle at the beginning, but that was it, nothing else. I didn't have any contact with her. But when he talked with the police, well, he testified on stand, first of all, he testified that he had seen all the reports. So he knew all the evidence in this case of what it was. He also knew that we were trying to convict Ms. Waterman. He was willing to kill her mother to protect Ms. Waterman. And him lying on the stand wouldn't be that much greater. I mean, what is he looking at, 99 years? Perjury doesn't exactly hold a big fear for him. So he testifies about that, but I played the statement that he made to the police. This was made before he knew all the other facts in the case, before he knew what the police had or anything else. And he told the police on this, at the time, that is evidence, it's inconsistent with his testimony at trial, and it's just as reliable as the testimony that's presented here in court. That's why it's admissible. And that is that Jason came to him and he took over from the plans from there after that. Is there other evidence to corroborate what that is? Yes, it's the one letter I showed you at the beginning, September 29th letter. And on the email, September 29th, Jason says, Brian has plans. He wants to move on it within a week. And then I think the letter says within a month, he wants to move on it. It is Brian who's coming up with the plans. And Jason is putting this down in writing. In the email to Ms. Waterman, that was recovered not from Jason's computer. That email was not recovered from Jason's computer. It was recovered from Ms. Waterman's own computer. When Mr. Wells said there was no evidence on his, all of it comes from Jason's computer. No, it doesn't. The email comes from her computer, Ms. Waterman's computer, Rachel's computer. And that is that Brian wants to move on the plan within the next week. The letter has, he hopes to move on within the next month. Brian is the main person who's going between this. Mr. Wells talks about the fact that when Mr. Riddell testified, he wanted to have the plans for the house. Well, you heard on the tape, he didn't want to get Rachelle involved. The fewer mouths there are that know about what's going on, all the plans, the fewer there are that can talk about it. He did not want Rachelle involved. That's why he didn't get the plan. He also testified that when he went up to the house, he didn't go to the right side of the house because there was lit up there. He went over to the left side of the house because it was darker over there. Side. That's the reason why he went over there, not because they got the window wrong. And you heard on Ms. Waterman's statements to the police. She told them several times that she had gone out the window, snuck out the window. So they knew that she had snuck out the window. When he came up, he didn't go down the right side of the house because it was well lit. He went down the left side of the house because it was darker. Now, Mr. Wells doesn't refer to Mr. Riddell as a child molester, even though Mr. Riddell had sex with Rachelle before Jason Arendt did. Why? Because he wants you to believe Mr. Riddell's testimony. If he called him a child molester, your opinion of Mr. Riddell would go down because of it. But he was doing exactly the same thing that Jason Arendt was doing. He was having sex with Rachelle, and he was doing it before Jason did. So why isn't Mr. Wells calling Mr. Arendt a child molester? The reason is because he wants to use Mr. Riddell's testimony. He thinks it helps his case. And he doesn't talk much about the interview with the police because it doesn't help his case. It hurts his case. So he focuses only on the testimony here, which is contradicted by his testimony. He also refers to Mr. Arendt as a stalker. Now, Mr. Wells is an attorney, criminal defense attorney. He knows what stalking is. By law, it's the repeated acts of non-consensual contact. Non-consensual. What evidence is there in this case that Mr. Arendt had non-consensual contact with Ms. Waterman? None. You look at the email, the letters that Ms. Waterman sent her. They're in his evidence. You look at the letters she sent. You look at all the testimony. There is not one single.
When he stood outside her
She's a
house,
minor.
and there's that. But he stood outside her house. Ugh.
Oh, man, you weren't kidding when you were like, I said, bring it home.
I told you he wouldn't. He's already got the names backwards.
Yeah, what a dumbass. I
And
mean, he just
also-
even confused the chat. They're like, wait, I thought it was. No, chat, you guys had it right.
Yeah,
She's got it wrong.
Yeah, he said wrong. And yeah. Yes, it is all.
Yeah.
You cannot consent as a minor. I don't care.
You can't consent as a minor. You can't consent as an inmate. You can't. No.
But yeah, no, he did. And there's just because Jason Arendt's emails were on her computer doesn't. Okay, so he sent her an email or 1,000. But
That's what I want to know.
There's nothing coming back. There's nothing coming back. The folder that they had in the interrogation room was given to them by her dad, was full of Jason Arendt's emails. There was nothing in there from Rachelle. There are no emails from Rachelle.
I wouldn't say nothing.
There's no emails from Rachelle.
This is what I mean, Carmen. You got to go back because your mom went back and researched it.
I went back and listened to the cross-examination of the investigator. There are 0 emails from Rachelle. There are 0 chats from Rachelle. They have 1 letter, and the defense talked about it today, and then he read the rest of the letter that was dated before the quote-unquote hunting trip.
I don't agree with you, but okay.
That's fine.
Oh, Haley Mouse, we call it grooming in the U.S. too.
Yeah, absolutely. But in 2006, there wasn't.
2006, you could groom whoever you wanted.
I'm just
I
saying.
don't even think.
That
I don't even
wasn't
think the
like
prison.
the term was used in 2006.
But so I was thinking about it, and I was like, why were you not charged with, it's like soliciting a minor? I don't know. Starts with an N, but I don't know if YouTube gets mad at that word.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Or grape of a minor. But then I looked, not that one really has to do with the other, but it just kind of gave me a perspective. Like, I don't even think the PREA, the Prison Grape Elimination Act, I don't even think that even started until 2009. So there was a lot of laws that were not necessarily put in place and or enforced at that time, which is really sad.
So yeah, Snipe, there's no actual proof that she actually read them at all.
He's saying there's a letter where she said she felt bad about not writing him long ones like he did. I don't I'm not saying I believe you.
No, I do. I do vaguely. I don't remember exactly what was said, but I do vaguely remember that. But to go with that desert, then there's that one.
And then John Gary, but we are not relying on PDF Brian to prove her innocent. The state is relying on PDF Jason to try to prove her guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That is true. Also, Brian said he never finished. So.
I mean, the state's doing a terrible job right now. I mean, to try to paint Jason in a bright light, no.
No, he's not. We are not
That's
putting.
just stupid. Like that's a stupid tactic. That's a stupid technique. I don't even know why he's trying it. I don't even know why he's bringing that up. Because if you're going to do a closing argument, like a rebuttal, you should not be bringing any of this up. You should be absolutely freaking hammering Rachelle right now. Not Jason, not Brian, hammering Rachelle right now.
And they can't. Because Brian and Jason already hammered her. So, anyways.
And the rest of the town.
Incident of non-consensual contact. What they were doing was consensual. They were communicating with each other. Monday, when she was at the high school, who did she call? She called Jason Arendt. All the contact in this case was consensual. There is no stalking. Mr. Wells knows full well what the law is of stalking. Why is he doing it? He's trying to build up an emotion in you that this guy's a stalker. He knows full well he's not a stalker because there's no such thing as there's no non-consensual contact in this case. Why he wants to build up emotion? His argument is based on emotion. Being dramatic is what he's trying to do. He also talked about they were cut off in October. Well, if you remember, I think it was Doc Waterman's testimony. He grounded Ms. Waterman around in September and October. And I think she also talked about it in her interviews. She was being grounded. They were watching her communications and stuff. So she didn't have as much contact with Mr. Arendt because she was grounded. They were keeping a close eye on her. If you look at the letters, you can see that they're having contacts with each other, but it's like at school when he's trying to get up there, and they see each other on the slide. But in the letters, you can see they're trying to have contact with each other. He also talked about Dr. Byers' testimony. Dr. Byers' opinions is based on the evidence that she's been given. And what has she relied on? She spent quite a bit on her interview with Ms. Waterman, Rachelle Waterman. Now, in the report, you heard on the tapes, the police interview with Ms. Waterman, she was asked if she had sex with Brian Riddell and Jason Aaron, and she said initially no. Then she admitted that she lied, and she did have sex with both of them. Well, Dr. Byers testified when she interviewed her in January 2005, she denied having sex with the two of them, that they were delusional. Then she talked to her again in October 2005, and she admitted that she had sex with her. Here we have Ms. Waterman lying to her own psychologist. She also talked about, Dr. Byers talked to her about the emails that were sent. And Mr. Wells talked about Jason sending her these instructions to get her to pose for it, and she's sending these pictures to him. Well, Ms. Waterman tells Dr. Byers, and Dr. Byers testified that Ms. Waterman told her she never gave him those pictures, that somehow Jason got them off the computer. I mean, she's relying on making her opinion on statements that are clear lies from Ms. Waterman. So how good of an opinion can she give on those situations if her own supposedly client, Ms. Waterman, is lying to her about stuff? Mr. Wells talks about the sexual assault. There is no evidence of the sexual assault in this case, all right? The only evidence we had was Dr. Byers. She testified that she interviewed Ms. Waterman, and she talked about trauma that she had and said that she had been raped in 2001. The judge instructed you the information given to Dr. Byers is not being admitted for the truth of the matter asserted. It's being admitted to show what the basis is of the doctor's opinion. In other words, that is not evidence. Mr. Wells knows that, but yet he comes up here and tells you that. Why? Because it's trying to build sympathy for his client. If you look at it in 2001.
Your Honor, may we approach?
As Dr. Byers testified, the judge told you that what what statements were made solely for the purpose of giving her what's the basis of her opinion, not for what the truth of it is. In addition, Mr. Wells finished his closing argument with this letter he was reading from Lauri Waterman. It's an undated letter talking about how she loves her daughter. But as Dr. Beyer also said, that her mother did not believe that the sexual assault had occurred, that she'd caught her coming in late, and she didn't believe it. And so if her own mother wouldn't believe it, then what evidence is there to support it in this situation? Now, he talked about the exhibit, I believe it is Exhibit A, an email from Mr. Assistant District Attorney Dan Challenge about how I was sent out at 4:35 on Friday. And if we can develop charges against Rachelle Waterman, that case should be presented to the grand jury at the same time for multiple reasons. Now, he seems to think that anything that occurred before then is what Mr. Shalley is talking about. No. If you remember, according to the witnesses, Trooper Claus and Sergeant McFerrin, they interviewed Mr. Aaron, and they finished that interview about 4 o'clock. That would have been about a half hour before the email sent. Mr. Trooper Claus then goes and with Mr. Aaron, and they go on the 4-hour trip around the island. So Trooper Claus is with Mr. Aaron from the beginning of the interview up until 4 when it ends, and then stays with him for another 4 hours until 8 or 9 at night when they come back. So he's obviously not telling what happened, contacting Mr. Shalley about. Sergeant McFerrin, after the interview ends, he and Sergeant Habib want to go interview Ms. Waterman. So they go and look for her and her father. I think they go up to the courthouse, don't see him up there. They go up to the house. She's up there, and they ask her to go, and they start the interview about 5 o'clock. In other words, Mr. Shalley doesn't have Rochelle's interview, doesn't have Mr. Aaron's interview, because the police have just finished it and they haven't finished it. They're just continuing. They're just taking him around the island. So none of that's in there. And yet he already thinks, and yet Mr. Shalley said there might be evidence of it, but he hasn't had all the evidence in this situation. So that email means absolutely nothing. It shows that Mr. Shalley had some information earlier, but he didn't have all of what Mr. Aaron said because the troopers were still interviewing him, taking him and going around the island. So he didn't have that. And they didn't have Ms. Waterman's interview because it didn't start until half hour after the email was sent. So what that has absolutely nothing to do with any of this. It shows nothing. It just shows that when Mr. Shalley sent it at 4:30, he did not have all the information because it was in the process of being troopers getting it. They were taking Mr. Aaron out and talking to him and then taking him out around, showing him around. So it doesn't mean anything. According to Ms. Wells, it's just grasping at straws. Then he talks about the teenagers and the friends of Ms. Waterman coming in and said they only saw a normal teenager. Well, how many people can look at someone and say, walking down the street and say, that guy's going to kill somebody? There's absolutely no way. How many people seen people on TV say, friends and neighbors of somebody who killed someone, and go, I never thought that he would ever do anything like that. It surprises me that he killed somebody. I never saw that in him. Or how many people remember Winona Ryder? Before her convictions, how many look at her and say, oh, there's a thief? Nobody did. You can't look at people and look at them and say, oh, they're going to commit a crime, they're going to commit a theft, they're going to commit a burglary, they're going to commit a murder. If that was the case, you could have people walking down the street and say, that's a murder, that's a thief. It's impossible. They come in and say, well, her friends come in and say, she's just a normal teenager. That doesn't prove anything one way or the other, because there's no way to tell what a person who looks like who's going to be involved in a murder. I don't doubt for a second that Ms. Waterman would not be able to kill somebody. That's why she contacted Mr. Aaron. Mr. Aaron couldn't kill anyone. That's why he contacted Mr. Riddell. And unfortunately for all of us, Mr. Riddell could kill people. He had it in him to kill somebody. Those other two, they could get involved in it, but they couldn't actually do the actual killing with their own hands. That took somebody special, someone like Mr. Riddell. In addition, how many have any doubt whatsoever that Mr. Aaron is guilty of murder in the first degree? None of us do. And what do we base it on? Mr. Aaron's statements to the police and in his testimony. Listen to his testimony. He gave a confession to the police about his involvement in this case. Why is it that we believe his confession is to him, but we don't believe anything that he says is to Ms. Waterman? Why? It's totally opposite of what we do. People will try to take blame off themselves and put it on someone else. Here we have Mr. Aaron taking complete blame onto himself and then saying Ms. Waterman and Mr. Riddell were involved in it too. Mr. Riddell confessed. And when he talked with the police, you heard it. He also says that when Jason came and called me and talked to me, he says that Ms. Waterman was involved, that she wanted to have this done, was talking about. And you can look at the letters and back and forth between Mr. Aaron. These were written before the murder occurred. He's talking about Brian having plans and that they'll be together. Things like, I think Ms. Waterman talks about how she hopes her father won't go off his rocker after volleyball when they're together, things of that nature. All of these are discussions between them about what's going to happen after her mother is dead. Now, he says that in her statement, Ms. Waterman doesn't say anything about killing him. Let's see if I can find him. She's wrong. In her interview, she says, it was that idea started being discussed, murder. And I said, I didn't do a lot of talking. I did a lot of listening because I didn't know what to do. So like I said, it was discussed, and I said, well, yes, let's do it. And then, time has passed and nothing happened, and I thought it was going to fade. Question, yes, let's do it for which? Answer, for the murder. Question, which scenario? Answer, they hadn't decided on one. Question, so you basically gave them a green light for whatever they came up with? Answer, no. I told them I wanted to know what was going on. Question, before it happened? Answer, yes. Then she also says, a little bit later in the interview, and so it came up to it in a conversation, yeah, my dad's going to be gone this weekend. So if we're going to do something like this, they were saying, so if we were going to do something like this, would be an opportune time. And I'm kind of like, well, yeah, I suppose. And well, that's when I didn't know if we were going to go to state or not. Of course, I only found out regionals weekend. And after I found out we were going to state, I was really excited. And I told them, yeah, I'm going to state. Our team made it. We hoo-hoo. And I didn't really say anything about a plan. I was euphoric in winning regionals. And then before I left, they said, we might do the plan this weekend. He said, it would be a good time. So yeah, she does say that she knows about it. She talks about it. She did agree with their plan. She says, yes, let's do it. In her statements to the police. Contrary to what Mr. Wells said, she did say that. The letters. He talks again about Jason and being the supposedly stalker. I mean, if you look at her letters to Jason, it says things like, I wish I could sit with you and talk for a long time. At least these notes help, and at least once a week we get a good conversation in. Says that it's not fair. You send me this huge romantic letter and all you get back is a crappy one. I'm sorry, LOL. And then she signs it, love always, Rachelle.
All right, there you got it. What's the time frame on this? Because the plan didn't come till August, apparently. So when were these? This is rebuttal. That's why I put it super fast, because this guy's super bad and not in a good way. Is he bringing it home for you, Carmen?
He's not.
Vicky, before I forget, thank you for being a member for 8 months. I appreciate it, and thank you that we talked you into sending a super chat, because I appreciate that too.
Country
I gotta do this.
road,
I gotta do this.
take me home.
All right, we're almost done. Oh, I do have a question. So there are jury questions that come up.
No. The answer is no.
If you want to listen to the jury questions,
Can you L to the jury questions? Do you know the timestamp of the jury questions?
it's like a it's a
West
38
Virginia.
it's 38 minutes
The jury questions are 38 minutes?
because there's several back and forths.
Okay, well, maybe we can hear the verdict and then you can put another
So-
video up for jury questions.
Are the questions good? Not really. Like,
Okay, well, maybe we hear the verdict and you can just tell us the jury questions.
I mean, they asked for some things they couldn't have, and they argued a lot about how she was going to respond to the questions about. They couldn't have the timeline that the defense had written out during the trial, what he used during his closing. That was never admitted as evidence, so they couldn't have that. She had to kind of tell why they couldn't have it. I forget, there were some other things they just as typical juries ask questions, they're not allowed to have. They did want the definition of engaged.
Whoever, are they better than the prosecutor's questions?
Yeah. So, and they, I laughed because they were using this 2006 still, but they were using the 1976 version of like Webster's dictionary or something. I don't know, but that was funny. But then the jury chooses to go home, then they come back. I mean, it's it's just a lot of stuff that I don't have all of. Like, I can't skip it all because I did not have time to get the timestamps.
So, little one, give her a second.
I didn't
She's
see
trying
that.
to address some other things. It's not that we're ignoring your question. Just give her a moment.
I didn't see it.
So the question was, so where did the whole thing about throwing under a bus come from?
Like the saying in general, or the
I think with the straw.
Jason threw everybody under the bus. He threw Rachelle under
Yeah.
the bus, and he threw Brian under the bus, and he took himself out from underneath the bus as fast as he possibly could when he was
Yep.
questioned by the police. So that's when we're saying that.
Yeah, but if we miss a question, just give us a moment. We will get to it.
I didn't see it. Sorry.
So, I mean, but one of us, there's 3 people on this panel. We will get to it.
I see why you pass on those questions. Yes. So if you want to watch the questions, we can watch the questions.
Well, I mean, you explained it now. I mean, I'm good.
So I can go straight
mean-
to the verdict after this.
Yeah, if there was something super interesting, I'd be like, yeah, let's hear it. But
It's
you
not
know.
really. It's not.
Okay.
So we got about 7 minutes left of this dude. and
This
his mess.
dude.
He's not really said a lot about her right now. Right now is the time that he has brought her back up finally.
Well, he's always had it up for her in his
I
left
know.
pocket. So,
Not as much as the investigator.
well, that's where the pictures are. Left pocket.
Ew.
Waterman, your loving kitten. I mean,
Ew.
that clearly shows a relationship between the two of them. That they're communicating back and forth. And the letters he sent clearly show, particularly that first one. Mr. Wells spent a lot of time on it because it undermines his whole theory about it, that Mr. Aaron got a big deal out of it, and he's testifying about what happened because of this great deal. Well, first of all, Mr. Aaron's convicted of murder in the first degree. So he's getting convicted of the most serious crime in our society, murder in the first degree. Granted, he's getting a cap of 50 years rather than a cap of 99 years. But he wasn't the one who did the actual killing. Mr. Riddell is. Mr. Riddell is the one who's actually able to do cold-blooded actual killing in this case. Mr. Aaron couldn't do it. So of the two, I think everyone would agree Mr. Riddell would be the more dangerous of the two, since he's able to kill in that manner. Mr. Aaron couldn't even do it. He got sick and threw up during the process. So yeah, but the letters predate all that. They predate her death. They predate any motive he has to lie. They predate any of that. And what do they talk about? Particularly that first letter, plans that they were having, plans that they're going to go through. That completely undermines the defense theory that Mr. Aaron is providing information to convict her. And this case is not based solely on Mr. Aaron's testimony. I don't know what Mr. Wells said. Mr. Aaron's testimony, yes. Mr. Riddell's testimony as well, his statement to the police, yes. There are the letters, yes. There's Ms. Waterman's statements to the police, yes. Now, we went out and cooperated as much as we can with Mr. Aaron's testimony, as well, when he was in talking with the police and told them what happened, he describes what happened. Like, for instance, the flashlight. They took the flashlight and took it and had the DNA. Because Mr. Aaron said, Mr. Riddell has the flashlight and smashes it into her throat. So DNA, the flashlight's taken and DNA is recovered from it, showing Mr. Riddell's DNA on it, and shows Ms. Waterman's, Lauri Waterman's DNA on it, corroborates it. Well, how did Mr. Aaron know that that's going to be corroborated? He didn't. From the time when he decided to get completely and fully cooperate with the police, he did. And everything he talked about, everything he showed was corroborated by it. Even his statements that Ms. Waterman contacted him and asked him to kill him, and he then contacted Brian, and Brian took over the plans and stuff. His emails, his letters corroborate that. They corroborate that Brian was the one who was coming up with the plans on how to kill him. I mean, Mr. Aaron, you saw him, he could come up with a plan to kill him. It was Mr. Riddell who came up with a plan to kill him. It's also the reason why, so it was all, so we corroborated as much as we can with Mr. Aaron. And when he talked to the police, he did not know what the police would be able to corroborate or not. He didn't know, like flashlight. And he took them out to areas where the police would never have found any of the evidence. They would not have found the ropes or the burnt items. They wouldn't have found the scene where she was killed. Wouldn't have found where he was waiting. None of that would have been discovered, except for the fact that Mr. Aaron contacted him. In fact, as I said in my closing, this case would probably remain an unsolved homicide if it wasn't for Mr. Aaron telling police what happened. Granted, he tried to keep himself out of it, saying that he wasn't involved, but it became fairly clear, obvious, that he was, and then he admitted to his involvement, and then he admitted to Ms. Waterman's involvement. So his statement that he's testifying because he got this great deal, spending 50 years in prison isn't exactly a great deal. He should probably spend more, but 50 years is an awful long time out of someone's life. And even if, and it did talk about parole eligibility, but we're not dealing with somebody who's committed a theft or burglary. We're somebody who committed a murder in the first degree. And the question of whether they're going to get on parole or not is up to the parole board, but they're going to be treated, someone who's convicted of murder in the first degree is going to be treated differently by parole board than somebody who's convicted of a burglary or a theft. So simply because he's eligible doesn't mean he's going to get out. So he's probably looking at spending the majority of the rest of his life in prison. And 24 years, 30 years is an awful big chunk out of anyone's life. Granted, it's not the rest of his life, but so he got a deal, but it's not exactly a particularly great deal. He's still convicted of murder in the first degree, which is the most serious crime. The lesser charges were dismissed, but murder in the first degree remains, and he's looking at a long sentence in jail. There's a good chance he'll get 50 years to serve. But like I said, everything he talked about with the police was before this offer was made. They went out and corroborated fact after fact after fact, including his involvement with Ms. Waterman. She verified that on her statement. And his statement that he went to Jason and asked him what to help kill him because Rachelle asked him to. And Mr. Riddell corroborated that in his interview with the police. So you don't just say, well, he testified, therefore I'm relying on it. You base it on all the evidence in the case. You don't just you don't take piece by piece one evidence at a time. If you look at it, it's based on everything. Mr. Aaron's testimony, Mr. Riddell's testimony, the statements that were made to the police, Ms. Waterman's statements to the police, the physical evidence, the letters, the emails, all of this together shows one thing. There's a conspiracy involved in this case. Clearly, there's no doubt about it. Mr. Riddell and Mr. Aaron conspired. The evidence clearly shows beyond reasonable doubt that Ms. Waterman was involved in that conspiracy. She was communicating with them. They were communicating with her, talking about plans, when they were getting together and stuff. Ms. Waterman is involved in that. She admitted it to the police. Mr. Aaron testified about it. The letters that were sent prior to the killing show that. All of this shows that Ms. Waterman was involved in the conspiracy to kill her mother. And that conspiracy went to its finale with her death, with her being murdered. That makes Ms. Waterman as much as responsible as Mr. Aaron and Mr. Riddell. She's also guilty of conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree, as well as murder in the first degree, as well as the other crimes in this case. The state requests that since the evidence proves her guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, not beyond all doubt, but beyond a reasonable doubt, that you return the verdict in this case that the evidence supports, and that is guilty of all the crimes charged.
Against West.
And stuff. Thank you, Mr. West, for nothing.
All I saw was Merkins.
What a shit attorney.
I told you he was not going to bring it home.
Shit. No.
There was no danger of him bringing it home.
He brought it not home. He brought it around the block and down the corner in a trash can by the homeless shelter. That's where he brought it.
Yeah, he said everything he basically shouldn't have.
Yeah. The worst. I bet he has dandruff on his shoulders. I bet he does, Snipe. I bet he does.
So, before I hit play, here we go to the verdict. I do want to thank all of you guys we made it. I did not think we were going to make it through this entire thing without somebody slipping up. We're getting ready to do the verdict, Shenny. So
I swear to God, if somebody put that in the chat before him.
They put it in right now.
I got my finger ready. Delete.
But, yeah, everybody, thank you so much, because I never thought we would make it through an entire trial without somebody being like, oh, I know this. And so we did it. We did it. I don't know. Whoops. I don't know that because they kept going home.
Well, Brian still hasn't. He still hasn't come back. Still hasn't finished. Sorry, I
thought you were talking about Brybear. I'm like, what?
Oh no!
I was gonna say, what does Brian have to do?
Brybear finishes.
Sorry, how do you know?
He's married. He's happy, like he's newly married.
He's noodling.
He's noodling. Married. All right.
Noodling.
Here we go.
All right.
Please rise. Your Honor, the court. The Superior Court is now in session. Governor Rachelle Collins presiding.
Please be seated. We're on record in State versus Rachelle Waterman, and I'm told that Mr. West is on the line. Can you hear me all right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. The jury is here. Ms. Waterman is here. Counsel is here. Mr. Gullison is here with the Juneau District Attorney's Office. I've received your note, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and it is not my desire in any way to inquire about how the jury might stand numerically or otherwise, or anything having to do with the state of your deliberations. Your message reads that we are unable to reach a decision on all counts. I'm fully aware that you have been deliberating for 7 days, not so much as leaving for lunch. But the law does require that I at least inquire as to whether there might be some chance of forward movement. And in doing that, let me refer to instruction 43. And basically that instruction, which you all may have memorized at this point, but it reads that as jurors, you have a duty to consult with one another and to deliberate with a view toward reaching an agreement, if that can be done without violence to individual judgment. Each juror must decide the case for himself or herself, but only after an impartial consideration of the evidence with the other jurors. In the course of deliberations, a juror should not hesitate to re-examine his or her own views and change his or her opinion if convinced it's wrong or erroneous. But no juror should surrender an honest conviction as to the weight or effect of the evidence solely because of the opinion of the other jurors or for the mere purpose of returning a verdict. Mr. Rearson, do you feel that there's any potential of that further deliberations might be beneficial? And again, I don't want to know what's been going on in the course of your deliberations, but rather whether it does appear hopeless.
It's hopeless at this point. Not regards to numbers or quantity, but the proceeding of deliberation has come to the point where it's at an impasse. We cannot produce a unanimous vote with any further deliberation.
Right. Would the other members of the jury agree with that assessment? Yes. All right. I see nods all around. Mr. Wells, if you could approach, please, for a bench conference with Mr. West online.
Certainly.
But I do need to address something with counsel, and because Mr. West is telephonic, it's not working. It should only take a moment. I remind the media that no photographs of the jury. And if you don't mind standing by for just a moment, I think it's quicker than having you file out and then back in again. Please rise, quickly. Call. Be seated. Seated. Legs. Yes, I anticipate that Mr. West is still on the phone. The wonders of technology are such that we somehow can't record Mr. West from anywhere but here. So I am going to ask that you take a short break. Before we break, just as a point of clarification, your note indicates that you are unable to reach a decision on all counts. Does that mean that you feel that you are deadlocked on every charge?
In regards to one aspect of all counts, yes, on every charge.
All right. So again, you all feel as if there's no likelihood you can reach agreement on any of the counts. I see nods. All right. And I have to talk to counsel before I can excuse you. It should just take a moment or two. So you could go with Mr. Stevens to the jury room, and I'll have you back here in just a moment or two. Mr. West, can you still hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We continue on record without the jury present. Mr. West, at the attempted bench conference, Mr. Wells moved for a mistrial based on the deadlock of the jury. I'm assuming that he would reiterate that now that you're on the line.
Yes, I would.
Okay. Did you wish to be heard on that question, Mr. West?
I wasn't quite sure. They weren't able to reach a decision on any of the verdicts at all, right?
That's correct. That's the point I just confirmed with them.
Okay. Well, I mean, they've been deliberating for 5 days, and I wasn't there, but was the indication that all the jurors agreed that there wasn't going to be any way to reach a verdict?
I saw them all nodding. Did anyone see anything different?
No, Your Honor, that was their indication.
Okay. Then I don't have any. Reluctantly, unfortunately, I don't object.
All right. I'm going to call the jury back in then and excuse them with our thanks.
Can you tell them that somebody from either my office or the Juneau District Attorney's office and probably Mr. Wells's associates might be contacting them, and it's okay to talk to us about what happened?
Well, I'm going to leave that decision to them.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I have consulted with the attorneys with respect to your deadlock, and they have agreed that it is appropriate to declare a mistrial and release you as a jury, and I'm going to do that. First and foremost, it is very clear to me that all of you, along with our alternates who also wanted to be here today, very carefully listened to all the testimony that was presented during the trial. You were an incredibly attentive and thoughtful jury, and certainly you have spent many, 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 many hours considering this very serious case. And I guess before I release you, I just want to make clear that you have not failed in your duty. A hung jury, well, a hung jury means that people have carefully considered the evidence and reached the decisions that by law we tell you to reach individually. And so I don't want any of you to leave here feeling as if somehow you have failed or that the system has failed. It is a very serious system that calls for 12 people from all walks of life to come together and do something that's unlike probably anything you've ever been confronted with in your lives or will be again. And we appreciate the effort that you've put toward that task, and you're finally going to be excused from your January jury service. When I excuse you today, I won't be giving you...
Are you guys done listening to her?
I just looked up how long they deliberated, and holy moly.
A long time.
I can I say it?
I mean, they just said 7 days.
Oh, I thought it said 3 weeks.
No. So, well, Flashman just put it in there. Never mind.
Get done.
So,
Where? I don't see it.
this was February 17th,
It was
2011. She was retried again. An Anchorage jury convicted Rachelle Waterman of criminally negligent homicide, but found her not guilty of the more serious charges stemming from the death of her mother in 2004, including unaliving and kidnapping. The prosecutor said they were satisfied, that he was glad they agreed that Rachelle Waterman was responsible in some way for her mother's unaliving. Her attorney, Mr. Wells, said he was pleased that the jury acquitted Waterman on 6 of the 7 counts in the indictment, but planned to appeal the conviction. He said prosecutors wanted their pound of flesh in the unaliving of Lauri Waterman. Her father, Doc Waterman, said he remains angry that his daughter was forced to answer to charges. He said, "One of my strongest emotions right now is anger that she has been put through this for 6 years when she should have never been charged with anything in the first place." Sentencing guidelines indicate Waterman could get up to 4 years in prison, but the prosecutor introduced an aggravating factor. Waterman and her mother lived in the same house. That would make it possible for a judge to sentence her up to 10 years. She remains free on bond and attends college in Florida. To convict Waterman on the charge of criminally negligent homicide, the jury would have had to conclude that she set in motion the chain of events that led to her mother's unaliving and that she failed to stop it, according to closing arguments in the case. Waterman, now 22, was 16 years old. We all know when that crime happened. A jury in Juneau was unable to reach a verdict in her first trial, splitting 10-2 for acquittal, and the judge moved the retrial to Anchorage because of extensive publicity in Southeast Alaska. Waterman was charged with unaliving in the first and second degree, conspiracy to commit unaliving, criminally negligent homicide, kidnapping, and burglary. Blah, blah, blah. Both of the admitted unalivers, Brian Riddell and Jason Arent, testified in Waterman's first trial, but only Riddell testified in the most recent. Arent's earlier testimony was played to the Anchorage jury. Both men are serving long prison terms. Let's see.
Holy crap. Like, what a crazy. Wow.
I think I saw that she ended up doing 3 years.
Yeah, I think someone had said that in here. Yeah. That's crazy. What a crazy thing.
And then I think she left Alaska.
I bet she did. I mean,
She ran through everybody. She had to go get another pickings out.
Oh,
I mean, her whole life was F Craig, F Prince of Wales, I hate this place, blah, 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 F this place, blah, blah, blah. Of course she was going to get the heck out of there.
Heidel,
I'm sure she took the first float plane out.
Ew. I know that's
No,
the thing.
float. Yeah.
Heidel, can you send that to Carmen? Because I don't have Facebook.
No, send.
Or
Don't send
Cabby.
it to
I don't care.
Carmen, send it to me.
I don't
What is
have
she sending to me?
an update.
Oh, okay.
But I don't have Facebook.
I'd straight up go to Cuba. Whoever said it. Oh. I mean, why not? They got classic cars and Cuban cigars.
And like bad other things. I hope so. I hope she wised up too. It is almost unethical to retry someone when it was 10-2 for acquittal unless they find more evidence. It doesn't. I don't know because there isn't her second her retrial isn't anywhere.
Yeah, here we go. Okay.
So I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Rachelle Waterman was sentenced to 3 years in prison in July 11 after being convicted of criminally negligent aside in the unaliving of her mother. At the time of the crime, Rachelle was 16 years old. She was acquitted of first-degree unaliving and conspiracy to commit unaliving. Okay, let's see what else this is. Rachelle Waterman allegedly plotted to unalive her mother, blah, 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 blah. Wait, is there a link? What am I looking at here? This is just a post. There's a picture of her in handcuffs and a yellow banana hammock thing and her mother beside her. There's no actual update. Maybe you sent me the wrong thing.
I think she was just confirming the 3-year thing.
Oh, okay. Well,
sorry,
all right.
My keyboard. I didn't want to hear clickety clackety of my keyboard. Yeah, she's 20. She was what, 22 at the time she finally was convicted.
That's crazy.
So she had to
15
like that's a long
to
time
22?
for an adult to just have that hang over your head.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just to hang over your head that whole entire time that you just are waiting. Are they going to bring me back? Are they going to try me again? Knowing full well Mr. West is going to try you again. You know, I don't know if I think John Gary said Jason Arent refused to testify the second time.
Yeah,
I would be
he did.
surprised if
I saw
Mr.
that.
West didn't want to ask him. I wouldn't have asked him to testify again. I
Well,
think he blew your entire case apart.
John Gary also said it's almost unethical to retry someone when it was 10-2 for acquittal unless they find more evidence.
And I don't know if they
Um,
did or they didn't because there isn't any more. We only have the
yeah,
first
he did.
trial.
Right here. I did read that Jason refused to testify at the retrial, but Brian testified.
Yeah. And if
Interesting.
you're her, that's who you want to have testify, I think.
Oh, yeah,
Because
for sure.
Brian at least showed some remorse.
I mean, he was a little,
He's still gross.
yeah,
He still
for sure.
unalived somebody, but he at least, I don't think he would have done it again. I think Jason would absolutely have planned this whole thing out again.
Yeah, true. John Gary.
See you, Sharon. Have a good night.
Night, Sharon. What a crazy thing. Oh, my
Thoughts,
Lord.
Carmen?
I don't agree with it, but I mean, there's charges I don't think that she should have been hit with, but to just have all of them, I don't agree with that.
Well, I mean, you heard what they said, too. They charge people with multiple different counts of things to hopefully get at least a hit on one of them, right?
Which is
So-
why I hate when they do that.
I hate
Yeah,
when they do it too. I hate
but
lesser included. Absolutely.
To hear that the jury couldn't convict her on any of the charges that she was charged with, that was
That's
I mean,
ludicrous.
that
Nothing?
was a little crazy.
Well, two people
Yeah.
wanted to.
That's because two people were smart.
Well, Carmen,
And Robin, there's my thoughts.
So
Car-
I don't know. And Carmen, I
Yeah.
have said, I know where, well, I'll use a word that Frank likes. My tunnel vision is. I got it. Like, I
But-
know.
But on the flip
It is-
side,
And
I
it's
also have. I'm gonna agree with you on this one. I also have tunnel vision because I look at people
Celebrate
that
good times come up.
I've interviewed and interrogated. They're guilty, and 9 times out of 10, when they relax, and it's when they're actually just finally telling me the truth.
Frank.
sorry, let's go. Blame Flash fan.
Exactly. Wouldn't even
Well,
hear for most of the trial.
And I didn't know. The only reason that I knew the end of this is because Court TV cannot not put. They can't just say verdict.
mm,
They can't just say. Now, and on some of them they do. But I had no idea the testimony or the evidence, or I saw with all of you. I did try to. The reason I don't have timestamps on the questions is because I just kind of was like going through listening to see if we even needed to listen to it, but I didn't listen to a lot of the testimony because I didn't know it. I wanted to hear it all with you guys. So I did know the end, but that's it.
Well, unfortunately, I knew the end yesterday because there was somebody that said it yesterday in the chat, and luckily,
Well, I
most
don't
of
know. I
no,
don't
he
know.
did. I went back
I
and
know
went
what
back.
was said, but I don't know that they
I-
knew
That's what
I
I just
honestly
went
didn't-
back on.
I
because
didn't even see that, to be honest with you.
I saw it, but I can't prove that they knew. I did not skip
Neither-
a bunch of it, including openings.
Neither
No.
can
Let's go.
no, my boy. We were asleep.
John Gary
Opening.
says,
I actually did the opening.
I wonder if Brian changed his story in the second trial. I don't see how they could convict her without B.
Different jury, I believe.
Well,
Mm,
different. They moved it to Anchorage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Different town, different jury.
So,
different boat,
but I
Different
mean,
plane.
so
different access,
well, and plus you're looking at
closer to the Girl Scouts.
I thought the I don't know, because I thought they kept saying, is Prince of Wales, is that a title?
That's the island.
That's the island, but is that a place there as well?
Well, what
Because-
else would it be?
It is
Well,
a
because
place,
there's
yes.
other places there, dummy.
It's a joke. It's a
Ding dong.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's the island of Prince of Wales, but where she was from on the island of Prince of Wales, it was called Craig.
Craig, but there was other towns there, like Saskatchewan or whatever that's
Ketchikan.
called.
Ketchikan.
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 Ketchikan. Ketchikan.
Ketchup. Ketchup in a can. Never mind.
It's not really, Zach. It's a place.
so
Probably.
Ronnie asked, what next trial are you doing?
So I've got one in mind.
Oh, I gotta send you that other one.
I'm mapping
Is it the one I'm thinking of?
Probably not, because it wasn't even one I was thinking of. But
Mine?
Ah, shucks.
Frank, yours is in the queue.
That's the one I was thinking of.
This one is shorter. And I need
Kerouac?
to
Kerouac?
Not a name.
Oh God. Sorry. It just made me
Kerouac?
laugh.
Kerouac?
Kerouac.
Anyways, what was the next one?
Not a name of a town. Sorry, I was reading funny things. Hey, part of my family is Asian, you racist.
Anyways, what's the next one?
Hang on.
Number seven, ready.
We got teriyaki chicken.
Okay, that's
want-
all Lesko's fault. He made me do that. You don't have any
Huh?
idea.
Man, you want that done? You got boyfriend? You want
You
that
want-
done?
Oh, you missed the verdict.
Dang it, Ash.
It's all right. It was shit.
Does the next one
But-
have a happy ending or any ending? This one actually does not say the verdict at the end, so I don't know.
Why
But
am
I
I
think-
gonna watch that? I'm not gonna go
Yeah.
spend weeks on something that doesn't even have a freaking verdict. I just spent weeks on this and it sucked.
Terrible. This is just terrible.
But I think it does have a sorry.
Oh Lord.
I think it does have an ending. I don't know if it's
Ash?
happy or
No.
not.
Ash.
Ash,
No.
don't get me freaking started. No.
It was
She-
hung.
Huh?
It was hung. It was
On
hung
all
like
charges.
it was hung like Mr. Ed. All right.
I don't know who Mr. Ed is.
You don't know who
Well,
Mr. Ed
apparently-
is? Google
No,
it.
But apparently he sucks too.
He's a horse.
I don't
And,
think she would want to say
and
that to
Alaskan-
Mr. Ed's long face.
An Alaskan freaking pipeline would have been better than what bullcrap that this jury just had, except two
Well.
See you, Robin.
on all
Hi,
fronts.
Robin.
But don't worry, Ash. They did actually retry her, and she got convicted of negligent manicide, which is with an
Oh
H.
my.
Oh,
I love comedian.
Mr. Ed
Comedian
says
Elijah
nay.
Johnson.
Oh, Mr.
There's
I don't
Texas.
want to be Mr. I texted you like 54 years ago.
Yeah, but
Ooh.
that's okay. Oh. So, anyways, anywho,
Any Hooters.
that's the one.
We
I was
don't know what our
thinking it was.
we don't know what our next trial is going to be.
Well, I got it. So I'm just taking into consideration the holidays are coming up.
Yeah.
So,
what about it?
I need I'm trying to map this one out because I don't want.
I sent you. Oh, I haven't sent you the one. That's the only. Oh, it's gonna take you 10 days.
This one, I kept looking at it, but not like looking at it to see what it was about. And then, are you doing
Oh,
that?
what?
What's happening?
I'm
Is it
not
my
doing anything.
computer?
I have no control, so it's definitely not me.
Sorry, my
Your fingers.
screen just
T-Rex
started
arms.
popping up stuff. Weird. Anyway,
Getting hacked.
yeah, that was weird. But anyway, so I started looking at this trial. I
Right.
don't know what's happening.
So
Right.
you're starting to look at this trial.
I think we can get it done fairly quickly.
Oh my God.
Which one is it? The one that Frank said?
No, that one's gonna be that will take a while.
I was
So
gonna say,
I
don't
wanna
do
watch
that one.
that.
without-
what
Yeah,
is
don't do that one.
happening?
without-
I have no idea. Yes, MLS. God, you got to rewind about 15 minutes. We're not doing this again.
Did Shinny see it?
Shinny, come on. This is what happens.
Oh my, what's happening?
You're getting hacked.
Really?
No, seriously, if that's shut it down.
I'll be back.
All right.
Why are you still here?
Why are you still here? Moni, wasn't me. She caught me on the counter. Wasn't me.
Me.
What was the verdict? Hung. It was hung like a horse.
That was weird.
I told you to shut it down. Hit in. If someone's doing something funky.
There's nothing else going on.
Holidays. That's what I'm saying, Ronnie. I don't like where I'm going this year, so I'm good to do a trial.
Oh, I didn't get kicked out. I left because something weird was happening.
What'd you say?
What?
What the heck? Oh, hell no. Y'all are messed up, bruh. That was some messed up shiznits. That was some messed up stuff. I'm like, what is happening? What is happening? Wait, what?
I
That happened
kind
so
of liked
fast.
it.
I know you did, you little sicko.
So the next trial that it's out of Florida.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
always out of
from
Florida.
2000.
You're right, Snipe. I'm a damn nightmare, so don't close your eyes.
It's from
Sleep with one eye
2009.
From 2009.
Well, I'm just looking at your face of disappointment.
Because it's
Well,
always from Florida.
Florida.
We haven't
It's always
covered
from Florida.
one from Florida.
Not
There was
recently.
a dude
but-
that called 911 on himself because his imaginary friend took his meth. It's always from Florida.
But we've not covered Florida.
Well, at least
It
in 6 months
involves
we haven't.
a brother and a sister.
Can we hear about Frank's one again?
Well, that was
Where's
a long
Frank's?
time ago, Flash fan.
Where's Frank's one from?
Florida?
Get out of here, really?
I would not lie to you about that.
Well, I don't know now. You just put me up on screen like Baker does. So I don't know who I can trust anymore.
Yeah, nope, not kinky, but gross. I just was going through the audio to make sure that the audio in it is good. It is, but yeah, it's a Florida trial. It seems really interesting. She left the studio.
She's like, bye. What'd you say? 2000 what?
I think 2009,
Okay.
but I think it will have an ending.
Technically, Bob Ross was a Florida man, so some of them came out okay.
You lost all connections or you lost all faith? I'm not sure.
She probably is just using that as an excuse, and I'm going to get a phone call from her in about 5 minutes.
All right. So that'll be tomorrow. We'll start it tomorrow. As long as
Oh.
we're starting something tomorrow. I just don't know which one yet. So, oh, no, seriously, I really lost all connections. Well, maybe it was you making my computer go weird.
Whatever. Carmen, get on the pole.
There is a,
The
there
Sandman
is.
comes.
Oh, good.
There's a what?
I think it's the sun thingy. Surprise, surprise. He did. No.
I don't think that's true.
I hope you'll be able to sleep too, Frank, in anticipation.
I mean, after Lesko's comment, I don't know if I'm going to ever be able to sleep again. That is just, I mean, he painted happy little trees. How can you say that about the man? Jesus.
He hit him up in his hair.
Whew. You're going to come with some serious receipts if you're going to make that kind of comment.
Could just be defamation, but who knows?
Well,
Snipe says nope. Heidel says nope.
yeah, exactly.
Anywho, said I read a study about it. Oh, about the sun.
I was like, a study about Bob Ross? You're just having a minor heart attack real quick. You know what, whoever? You got to specify. You can't just leave a comment like that after a Bob Ross comment. Good Lord.
Dang, Carmen. Go to bed. Don't go to bed. Whatever you got to do.
She's cranky. She's cranky. I mean, you guys have been boxing for about a day and a half now. Verbally boxing each other. So
it's all right.
We're all like, sorry, LOL. You should be. Jeez.
So tomorrow will be at regular time, 6 p.m. We will start something. I gotta figure it out. So I went to the
Sister
VFW.
and Brother 2009, Florida.
Yes.
Well, sister, brother, cousin, lover?
I don't know.
It is down south. We got to bring back the ping.
I mean, it could be.
Life is suffering. True. Very true.
Life is suffering. Ronnie's happy. Yay.
Ronnie had no idea what just happened. She was just like, yay. Love everyone. Just finished making whatever I had to make. Just popped in to say, yay.
Oh, it's in Florida.
Now I got to go tell my husband that Bob Ross may or may not have.
He did not. Don't tell your husband that. Lesko's lying.
I know he is. I know he is.
There isn't. It doesn't exist.
There's no video footage of that.
There's no retrial. Yes, you are. You've already sent me more. So it's good, Flash fan. It's all good.
Flash fan, you were born and you have been suggesting trials since the day you were born.
Eat, sleep, suggest trials. That's it.
Yes.
And mod.
Correct.
All right. That's all I got. So that was a fun ride. I don't know if the next one will be as fun or not, but we'll try.
I wouldn't say fun. It was definitely a bumpy ride.
It was bumpy and twisty and turny.
Yeah, I mean, I had to wear a seatbelt. to survive it. That makes sense now.
Viewership would go to 0 if I streamed her retrial. But y'all know the end of it. So
That's what she said.
don't worry, I
Exactly.
won't.
All right.
All right. So have a good night, y'all. Bye from Carmen. So yeah, there's that.
Carmen's just waiting for you to end it so she can call me.
Yes. Don't call me Carmen. I'm going to bed. I was up way too late last night watching weird things go on in Grandma's box.
There was a lot of weird stuff.
You
Green
guys are.
porn was one of them. It was
Yeah, I don't
horrifying.
need. Nope. Good. I'm all good. And on that note, I'm ending.
Bye.
6 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. See you guys.
Hot mannequin love is kinda uncanny. Click, like, subscribe, ooh, piece of candy. Looking for my spotlight, chasing my vibe. Still looking for my credibility online. Ooh, hot mannequin love, candy on the floor, don't pick it up. Chasing all the clicks, chasing all the views. Credibility's hiding, but I'm bringing you the news. Every little scroll is a mystery, but you stuck around, watch the show with me. Laughs and chaos, that's how we roll. Drop a comment down below before you go. Every little scroll is a mystery, but you stuck around, watch the show with me. Laughs and chaos, that's how we roll. Drop a comment down below before you go.